Okay. Let's do it. Let's hop in.
What oddly What?
What, you've never watched oddly satisfying videos?
What do you consider oddly
No.
satisfying?
Just like, do you just Google oddly satisfying?
No.
And that things are very oddly satisfying. Mesmerizing.
Nope.
Okay.
Is it like how it's made, where it's just
Okay.
a bunch of stuff?
The problem with how it's made is that you watch
Yeah,
how
if it
it's
was-
made and you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then you're engrossed in it for the next 4 hours and you can't get your head out of it. And you realize, wow, I'm the dumb one for thinking that this was dumb.
I think my first one I ever watched was hot dogs.
Really? I feel like that'd be
Yeah.
a turn off for me. Knowing how a hot dog was made.
Yeah, I didn't want a hot dog after that.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how that made, I forgot.
Sounds about right.
Please!
I'm a toxic piece of shit and
I
biscuit.
swear, if she's still in GTA, I'm just gonna reach
Yo,
out to an admin and get
Lazarus
her banned.
with the tier 2 for 4 months. Thank you so much, Lazarus, for the tier 2. Can we get some hearts in chat, please? Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Let me get
Actually, I'm gonna set up my push to mute while we're waiting. Seeing as
gonna
we're
do the
just
same
waiting
thing.
on the one person.
the important one here.
Shoot.
This guy. What's up, Mike?
I'm leaving my mic open. All right.
Leave it open. No one's stopping you.
Yeah.
Mine's not, so I can like push to mute so I can talk to chat.
Oh, chat.
Yeah.
You're so nice. I'm glad you have the consideration for chat. You're the nicest person ever. What are you drinking? Just some Jameson. Jameson on the rocks. Just something simple.
Okay.
How can I do this?
Well, that button doesn't work as a push to mute, so that's great. That's fantastic.
I could do it like this. Oh, hold on.
It's just one button. Just gotta find one button, man. So
I
easy.
got it. I got it. I got it sorted. Can we just get people to go into Ash's channel and be like, move it? Hurry up.
If I didn't just get off the server, I would have just called her.
Jesus Christ. Oh, please,
How
please.
dare you leave the server?
Listen,
Please
I
don't
bailed
really-
from that big shootout for whatever was about to happen because I knew I was going to be there for at least an hour and a half. Oh,
Here
hey,
you are.
what
I was
up?
about to go into your channel and yell at you.
Yeah, well, I had to procrastinate.
Okay.
You have to
okay,
walk in the
buddy.
rain because Flop
I
left
don't
her.
know any of you guys how scary this is.
What do you mean you don't know what?
What?
I thought you all said it was out of character. Why is everyone speaking in their characters' voices?
Yeah, I'm confused. What?
Okay.
What?
Because we're not all as talented as you, goddammit.
Yeah, fuck you, Mike.
God, you don't have 20s character voices all set and ready to go.
I feel called out.
Listen,
you, Mike.
Flop over the years has gone from this high-pitched character to like just a slightly more upbeat me.
All right. Well, so Jasper's dead.
Is he?
What?
Is
He's
he?
never
Shut up.
alive, though.
Shut up, Mike.
I was just talking about that with my chat, actually.
Wow. Okay. So, Mike, you may as well kick it off with everything for it and
What?
the start.
I don't even know what I'm doing here.
You start of. Oh my god.
Listen, the difference between this and court is that you can say whatever you want here and there are no
Oh.
objections.
Mike, why'd you bring Jasper back?
Oh, that's a very good question. So actually,
I hate
there
how
was that big
fluent it is.
hiatus. I took the big hiatus of like almost the entire year off of 3.0, and when I came
I might
back,
pop
I
this out so you guys can see
wanted
who's
to
in
start with another serial killer and kind of test the waters to see how
did.
much had changed since 2.0, because investigations in 2.0 were non-existent pretty much. Even though Bass and Knight handled it extremely well. And then, so when I started the copycat, there was no intention on me ever bringing Jasper back. It was going to be a short, shitty copycat, a handful of videos of my favorite cassettes, and then boom, he'd get caught and it'd get done. But I don't know, it kicked off more than I thought it would, and it was like, there's potential here to bring Jasper back and kind of try to rekindle some of those old flames from 2.0. And yeah, I was like, if he makes it to 5 kills and we'll do some shit about the pentagram, I don't know anything about Satanism. That's not real to me. So I tried to cook up something that made enough sense, because it doesn't, none of it makes sense, right? Then yeah, here's where we ended up. So
I'm just changing my batteries. Give me a sec. Okay.
Your batteries for what?
oh, you didn't hear any of that? You want me to repeat it?
No, I heard it.
Okay.
All right. So, at what point did you decide to bring him back, though? For all of that, like, what was your turning point to decide to bring Jasper back?
Maybe getting Reggie involved, because when with the copycat there wasn't really any intention
Slumpy,
on
what's up, brother?
bringing. I didn't know any of the cops. I didn't know who was around, so it kind of started out with Dan
Seaside
Faley
Flop,
again.
what's up?
Holy, and then meeting Reggie in prison on my DOC, and it was like, well, there's a copycat, and it was just
no idea
it blew
how
up from
happy I
there.
was when that happened. When I saw you, like, heard your DOC talk, I'm like, no fucking way, Mike's back. I was only just saying that today as well.
Slumpy, what's up, brother? Did you see the flop
It
outfit?
was yeah, it kind of
I started putting that
skyrocketed
flag
the
on in a
storyline,
clip,
and it was like,
dude.
well,
I had
shoot,
to
I
fun
can't
with it.
end it now, because I had 3 other serial killer storylines ready, but I was enjoying remaking Jasper's cassettes into videos, and it was like, what if we bring him back and an admin doesn't message me and be like, hey, you're not allowed to do that, because I was fully expecting that.
I mean, honestly, I think the way that you tied it in was really cool. Out of curiosity, what was the average time it took to make one of those videos? Because I know it took you time.
30 to 40 hours.
Holy fuck, dude.
That's writing the script, and then I would do Jasper's vocals, and then I would do the sound effects, half of them, enough to like get a baseline. Rockstar Editor to do all the animations, and then exporting that into Adobe Premiere, and then tying like the last sound effects in and the victims' vocals.
Hey, can I be really annoying?
Sure.
Can I move us into a server so I can add the overlay to my stream?
I did that by just cropping out Discord. You're gonna ruin all my beautiful art of crop?
Do you want me to teach you to just put it on your overlay?
Yes, I would love that.
Oh.
But now they're gonna see all the shit talking that you did about Mike in there.
Oh shit, okay, hang on, let me quickly scrub it.
Okay, fucking of course Chris goes in there and says first.
Listen, someone needs to do it.
Okay,
I got a drink bar, but have a fun bye, guys. Appreciate it, brother. That's so fucked up. No one will ever know what just happened, but that is so fucked up.
all right,
Slumpy, thank you for the 5, brother. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
I'm a toxic piece of shit, and biscuits and gravy is good.
Okay, what's the secret?
Are we sharing
I'm a
secrets?
toxic piece of shit, and
Yeah, what
biscuits and gravy
secrets?
is good.
I don't have any secrets.
Do you guys want to know?
Slumpy, I love you,
I
man.
know this is a spoiler, but you want to know a really big secret?
I'm a toxic piece of
What?
shit, and biscuits and gravy is good.
I mean, are you? This is like,
Is
it's
Jasper?
like-
Mabel is Jasper.
wait, what?
What?
Is
I
Jasper
know.
dead?
Jasper's mum.
Biscuits and gravy is
I'm
good.
gonna go ahead and say it. All right. I know there was that big thing about, hey, third time's a charm. See you soon, Ash. But I actually have no intention on bringing Jasper back again. So
Hey, nice spoiler.
Great. Gonna put me in the like
Yeah.
emotional
God
distress.
damn it.
You
That's
motherfucker.
it.
You have ruined
Look, I
eons
just-
of meta chat. You have no
it's
idea.
just-
Meta chat will never recover from this one. I'm gonna hear about this
I don't
for
think
6
meta
months.
chat is gonna really understand or accept this.
It's
They're
okay.
gonna still
this
believe.
isn't meta. This isn't meta, right?
What? What do you mean this isn't meta? What?
This isn't canon. What, you think Ash the fucking character is sitting here talking to you? You should know who the fuck you are.
Wait, they're different people?
Okay, buddy.
Okay, back on track. All right. So, who was the first cop that got involved in the first kill that Alvin did?
Hi.
So it was you. You got straight involved from the start.
Was the
Yes.
first kill the one on the beach?
No, it was Dutch London.
Oh, okay, okay.
What were your thoughts initially with it?
Oh
You're
shit,
like,
not
fuck,
again.
another serial killer?
Yeah.
No, because I actually do like serial killer cases when it's more than just, oh, it's a dead body here.
Okay, well, scratch my next idea.
Don't you do that to me.
Oh my
No, you
God.
do it. But with just like how Mike presented the evidence and the fucking videos, I was like, okay, this is someone that's putting in a shit ton of time. I'm going to put another shit ton of time and also try and make sure that everything is done properly and all the reports are as much information as I could squeeze out of every single scene.
He does put a lot of time into your stuff. That's why I appreciated Jasper originally. As much as I had to pull apart his work and make it look like the police had no evidence, nothing, blah, 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 and just make it
I refuse to
so
believe
he
Mike may
was
come
just
back with a
telling
new
a
serial killer. I don't know if
story.
Jasper's
It was
gonna come
still
back
so
though.
interesting from both sides, and it's why I continued to get involved in it, because like you're just amazing at the shit you do, and you actually care about putting the time and effort into it.
I also spoke on this earlier during the shooting. I was saying that it's amazing how much you incorporate everybody. When Jasper took Ash, I think since I've been on the server, I've never seen a frenzy happen so badly on the server at the same time. Legitimately was the biggest shit show I think I've ever dealt with. And it was
I
so
felt
cool to
so
see.
bad.
No,
Somebody said
it
to me
was
it was like a
crazy.
server event. I felt
it
terrible
literally
too.
it was a server event. I have never seen so many people. It was so hard to justify seeing people just 911 being like, hey, I'm killing Jasper when I see him. And it was like, okay, how do we stop this one from happening? It was one of those, like, if it happens, I guess, cool. But at the same time, it was like, how do we control this? And we couldn't. It was so bad from the cop side. It was impossible to have any control over.
It was crazy to see. Like, I don't think, and Mike, you'll probably be able to say the same, is I don't think I have seen so many people get involved in a kidnapping like that before in the server. It was wild.
Absolutely not. It was different.
I don't think any of us expected it to be that crazy either.
Well, I think that like most people, it's so like, oh, I got kidnapped. Oh, for a bank, okay. You know what I mean? So people, I think, forget that it can be more. So it was unexpected.
Yeah.
I've also had those type of kidnappings where the person's gone for a couple of days, and generally there's an initial rush of a couple of people trying to look for them, and then it's just like no one's looking after that initial rush. This was the first one where it's like continuously looking for Ash and making sure every stone is looked at.
You get at best an hour or two with people, and then people give up and move on with their day. Even a lot of the times in PD, when people have like an ICU, we don't even hear about it until 3 weeks later when they're out of the ICU. It's like, oh, that person was in the ICU. So a lot of the times, the hunt doesn't even happen. So it was interesting to see that this one was over the course of days.
I was actually worried about that when setting up the scene. I was like, dude, people aren't stopping. They're just gonna happen across it while we were setting up. We gave the time frame of when everyone knew when it was gonna be released, and it was like they're gonna be scouring the city immediately after that restart.
Yeah.
And just
Oh, it was
walk
bad.
across it and ruin it.
I knew where it was going to be just from the things that he had said, but I wanted to also just wait for the video.
And even Top Gundy's
Instead of
disappearance,
just trying to
it
rock
really
up there
did.
and ruin stuff.
Zach
Like
has always been RP
you
dedicated.
could
Doesn't matter
tell
how long it
with
takes.
a lot of the stuff that
Zakel
Jasper
goes
said to Reggie
above
along
where
the
I
way,
go.
that was most likely going to be the place.
I'm a
is
Zach
Chicken
fan.
Factory
Zakel is
Leader.
amazing.
But I also didn't want to ruin the whole storyline coming together, because to me that would like kill the storyline. And I know that a lot of people were pissed off that Reggie got taken, and why didn't you just pull out a gun and shoot him? And I've explained this several times on my stream, is that I'm going to enable people to put effort into their RP like that, and I would hate to kill their storyline without giving them something back, because that's not how RP works to me. RP works with the fact that you need to take into account the other person and somewhat of what they want, and if they're offering a lot to you, why fuck it all up straight away?
And I believe we discussed it at some point, but I also felt like, as an outsider to your character, not knowing your character, opposed to, you know, what my character would know about him, I feel like it would make sense for a character like Reggie to freeze in that moment. I felt like it made a lot of sense for the character too.
Oh, it did, and that's the part. It everything that I did was well within
Raccoon
Reggie's
Queen,
character,
hell
because
yeah.
you got Reggie that's a cocky dickhead that had his world rocked from Jasper with Bree, and almost lost Bree originally for it, and always vowed that he was going to kill Jasper, lost the chance to do it, and then would always pipe up on the talks with him. But then as soon as he came in front of him, it's one of those oh shit moments. Everyone has an oh shit moment. Doesn't matter how big or tough you are, you'll have an oh shit moment where you'll be like, fuck. And during that time, well, you know, you don't know how you're going to react completely to it, and you can do something completely out of the norm. That's exactly what it was for it.
It really was something interesting. I think between Reggie and Ash's kidnappings, a lot changed. I feel like there was a time when things slowed down. And a lot of it was literally, I mean, jokes aside, it was literally a cat and mouse for a while. And then all of a sudden it was like out of nowhere, it was like rapid fire. And I think we even had a hard time scrambling to try and like find all of our buttons on the ground, because it was like just all of a sudden we were like double timing it, trying to figure out what the fuck to do.
Actually, I'm going to answer it now. So someone asked if Jasper had a perma condition when he met with Reggie after Ash was found. So the Trim Ash thing is, would you have permed if Reggie killed you there?
Which part was this?
At Trim Ash.
This was toward the end,
Yeah,
right?
the big showdown.
Yeah.
It was. I went into that expecting a trap. A perma would have been iffy though, like, because I wanted this to go to trial.
Yeah.
That was the end goal this time around. Like, Jasper didn't get it the first time, but this time, no matter what, we have to see out a trial, which is. Otherwise, I could have perma'd to Chico right then too.
Honestly, my thought process was that you were going to. I didn't know, but I was like, this would be an interesting way for him to go. So.
Well, the only thing for me is, like, I could understand why Reggie could be a perma condition. Just as an FYI, those who don't know, had Jasper stabbed or downed Reggie during that scenario, it was going to be a two-sided die roll. So a 50-50 on whether or not Reggie permas do it. So there was some very fucking high stakes there for me, and that's something that I already had as a perma condition to do with Reggie. So had something gone down the opposite way, which Jasper had plenty of chance to do. Because much to contrary belief, no one knew exactly where Reggie was going. Reggie didn't tell anyone. He just left. So it was one of those things where if Jasper does do it and attacks Reggie again, then that's it. So that was a high stakes for me, just being involved in that little bit. I was somewhat concerned on whether or not it happened, but if it happened and I flipped the coin and it was perma, that's it.
That's interesting.
The nail gun was an interesting touch. If Jasper would have went out by nail gun, he's just like, I'm not gonna scream like Bree did.
That would have been great.
I actually dropped Reggie's gun on the way there too. Made sure he didn't actually have a firearm on him.
That's crazy. Someone, did you know Flop's perma condition?
No.
I had a perma condition throughout the entire investigation, and I said I wouldn't talk about it till it was over. And I brought it with chat after Jasper was put in, and put a little risk in talking about it, because usually I wait till after these things to talk about them. I said that if at any point Flop pissed off Reggie enough that Reggie were to stab Flop, I would have done a 50-50 roll on perma.
God damn, why didn't you tell me?
I know.
I would have just done it.
I
Fucking
know.
God.
Yeah, you would
I
just stab him.
know.
That's why I didn't tell you.
Exactly, pussy. But
I totally missed it.
wow. No.
Okay.
So I said because Flop was the main person communicating with Reggie and Ash, I had said that if Reggie gets pissed off enough with Flop that he just stabs Flop, I'd be willing to do a 50-50 roll on permaflop.
Oh my god, Reggie wouldn't do that though.
This was before he was
Are
a
you
judge,
fucking
though.
kidding me? You kidding me?
There was a lot of times where I
Yeah.
thought Reggie was gonna just stab Flop because he just kept talking.
Reggie used to beat the fuck out of Flop all the time at Harmony. It'd be no different.
If you knew the I mean, honestly, the fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll say no. I'm shocked Flop ever was allowed to hold this case with the past that Reggie and Flop had.
I think it was only because, and Zach, you could say different, but it was probably more that Reggie was so stubborn that he was not going to talk to anyone else or deal with anyone else.
I thought that was an interesting touch, and I think it confused the PD too for a while. That when it came to, well, this person's gonna go talk to Reggie, and Reggie turned around and went, nope, I'm only talking to Flop. It became a weird, like, okay, Flop.
You can see why though, right? It was either Flop or Hayes. Like originally Hayes was very iffy for Reggie, but then when Hayes
did that ever really change though? Let's be honest.
No, it did. It definitely did.
Okay, fair.
Because Reggie, like, he tried with Espinosa, and Daisy pissed Reggie off like substantially with because he went to Daisy first because Daisy was around during his time.
You did Bree so well, absolutely.
And then he went to Hayes and wanted Flop there because Flop was someone that he knew and he hadn't spent much time with Hayes before. And then eventually over time it grew more to if it's either Hayes or Flop.
Yeah, that was an interesting dynamic, and it was one that no one ever questioned. It was just like, okay, our CI only wants to talk to these two people, and usually like people have a question like, why would they only want to talk to them? No one batted an eye in PD. It was just like, okay, this is what we need to.
Because they didn't want to deal with Reggie.
No one wanted to deal with Reggie.
Yeah,
Pretty much, no one wanted to deal with it, or nobody was like, I'm going to change Reggie's ideas of who he's going to talk to. So.
Well, the thing that I think Flop and Hayes went into knowing about Reggie was that when you go into talking to someone like Reggie, Ash was very much so kind of the followed a lot with Reggie. But when Reggie said something, you couldn't tell him no. You just kind of said okay, and then found a way to work around what he was saying. Because I think a lot of people would try and change Reggie in the moment, and you have to learn quickly that you can't change Reggie's opinion. When he says something,
he's a stubborn prick.
No shit. There were a few moments where I'm like, I'm gonna kill him now.
Yeah, I wanted to like give more RP to the PD in a sense, like of involving other people instead of trying to shut them out. But then there was some times where I couldn't ignore the fact that Reggie would be pissed off about a cop not dropping everything and doing something now for him. And like Flop even had to deal with it too himself. There was a time there where Reggie was incredibly pissed off at Flop because Flop wasn't doing what he wanted right now. That's not a fault of the cop. That's just Reggie being a dickhead and how he is.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember those conversations of just being like, Reggie, you're no,
Now.
no, Reggie, wait.
this is a good question as well. Is what were your thoughts on bringing Flop into it, who was just a patrol cop, into
He was a
such a
cadet.
large case? Even then,
For Hayes, a lot of the time is the person going to put the time into it? Are they going to do an okay job at what they're doing? And can I yell at them if they're not doing a good enough job to get them to do a good enough job and teach them to do enough for the case? And Flop meets all those requirements. I can yell at him, I can make fun of him, I can do pretty much anything I need to do to get him to go on the right course, and I can also talk him down. So
true. Flop a bitch.
Okay, so I was the
100%.
dog and you held the leash. Okay, I
Yes.
understand. This is bullshit.
Hey, Hayes told you that you were Reggie's handler, and Hayes was handling Reggie's. So
It really was. It was like this like tiered relationship between Hayes, Flop, Reggie, and then the difficult part for Flop throughout the whole thing was getting Ash to talk to Flop. And I'm sure Ash, you can speak on this too, but I think a big part of this was Ash very much listens to Reggie with a lot and takes Reggie's advice over others.
Does she though?
No, she doesn't. She literally
Okay.
does the opposite, and I sit there molding all the time.
Hold on. Let me clarify. The amount of times Flop has spoken to Ash and Flop's like, "What can I do to help you?" And Ash is like, "I want Reggie." I'm like, "Okay." I could never just have a regular conversation. And I think it was a cool dynamic to know that Reggie was always there to like help aid the conversation, even if Ash usually goes against Reggie.
Oh, yeah, Reggie's her security blanket.
Yeah.
It's it was funny because as much of an asshole Reggie is, he always throughout that whole thing had Ash's best intention. He always kept Ash in the forefront of his mind on what he was doing to try and keep her like protected and sorted. And being Reggie is sometimes he's stupid and doesn't always look at things the correct way, which then can cause harm to people.
Chat, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in chat.
He knows what he's doing all the time, but has learnt over time that maybe what he thinks isn't always going to be best, and he needs to listen to other people, which has been a good arc to pull him through, and something he's had to actually learn.
Which is a cool dynamic. I think it's a cool art to go through because it there's a lot of rough roads with that.
Okay, so here's another question. If Ash K died, would Reggie have killed Jasper? So now I can talk about it. I was given a
Yeah, it was pretty.
I was given an AWM, which is a one-shot sniper rifle from incredible distance that you guys probably know from Michael Simone's stuff. And I was given that and the okay and all clear to use that in the event of Jasper going to trial. However, I ended up getting judged and then I had to stop that because of, oh, see, I can't do that shit.
Sure.
Wasn't that great timing?
That was fucking shit timing, man. That was shit timing. So I had this
it
whole
was beautiful timing.
No, it was great.
I had
It
this
saved the
whole thing
case.
planned out. Well, no, what it was going to be was after he was sentenced, then that's when Reggie was going to do it. And someone would have gone up to Jasper, preferably Ash, say their final words, and then he'd just end up dropping down on the ground. And it would be this whole of who did this, and then it's going to link back to an AWM that's linked then again to Michael Simone. So basically, if Reggie got caught from that, he was so far fucked it's not funny. Because the only other person that's been caught on the server with an AWM is to do with Michael Simone. So then that'd bring a whole investigation of terrorism and Reggie helping him. That's why I also made it evidently clear that Reggie was helping Michael by being his lawyer, so it left that link there too. So I was leaving little breadcrumbs along the way to further that storyline instead of it just being a sniper rifle from nowhere shooting them down. That's it, it's over. And I wanted it to go to court. I've always wanted Jasper's thing to go to court. I didn't want it to end without him having a court day because I know that he didn't get it last time.
I think the court day was cool.
So in short, Reggie would have definitely killed Jasper.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll hold off on that question because someone asked, how Ash the streamer felt about her rescue, but I'll hold off on that for a minute.
Oh, there's a question for you, Flum. What did you think when Reggie moved close to you when he was in the hospital?
I was just about to read that. So
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed in the impact statement Flop gave today, but
I heard it.
Okay. The most impactful moment Flop had in the entire case, because Reggie and Flop had I don't want to say a falling out, but they had their really rough tensions throughout the case, and that was the first time Reggie actually opened up to Flop and really showed like raw emotion. And
that's the first time Reggie's ever done it.
Yeah. And
as an FYI, as a character, since I've had him, that is the first time Reggie's ever done something like that.
Yeah. And honestly, it was the most impactful moment for the character, I think, throughout the entire investigation. I think there are a lot of moments that like are memorable and won't be forgotten to the character, but the one that he'll always take away was that even if Reggie had a soft spot and doesn't now, to know that Reggie was willing to open up his arms to the PD to begin with and to look at Flop as a friend non-verbally, I think was one of the most memorable moments for the character, for sure.
That's like Reggie's first. So Reggie doesn't like people touching him, right? And the amount of times that people were able to touch him during that phase was incredibly difficult as me, as the person that controls him, to allow that to happen, because I'm so trained in Reggie doesn't let anyone touch him. So having Reggie have those emotions through that, and it was incredibly hard for me to keep him on that same path. Because it's not natural for that character, which when it's not natural for the character, it makes it hard for you to continue doing. But it challenged me a lot through that.
I think that was one of those unnatural moments for the character, which made it so impactful. I think that was like one of those moments where Reggie did something that was unnatural to his personality, but it was that raw emotion that you can like have a big takeaway from.
Nah, Reggie's a teddy bear.
Oh my.
Welcome back, Ash.
Yeah, thanks.
It's the first time I've heard of that. What were your thoughts when you saw Reggie acting like that, Ash?
Wait, acting like what?
How he was after he came back after being attacked.
Who? My thoughts or my thoughts
Yeah.
with what I was saying with Ash?
Well, with Ash, your thoughts, I always say it doesn't really matter. It's kind of irrelevant.
It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was.
But it was kind of one of those things where, like, Ash hasn't viewed Reggie the same way as Reggie's viewed himself, or other people have viewed him, right? Never.
I want to play something
I mean,
while we
like,
do this.
you know, with Reggie and Ash, we've had a pretty, honestly, pretty close relationship. So, like, with Ash, the character, we knew that Reggie was not incapable of those feelings and didn't just not have those feelings and didn't have that vulnerability. He just wouldn't show it. So it was heartbreaking in that he was, because he didn't want to,
I
if
want to
that
play
makes
something
sense.
while we do this.
Reggie, the person who is self-proclaimed sociopath.
I got this.
He's not a sociopath. He just uses that so he doesn't have to admit weakness.
Which is also weird for me because I got to know Reggie during the farmer arc. So everyone always talks about crazy, like, psycho Reggie. And I was like, just a dude I hang out with in the woods, man.
It's funny though, like if you guys, like Flop knows this, if you guys had experienced Reggie through 2.0 to 3.0 and through this arc, and like even Mike experienced what Reggie was like back in 2.0, there's such a difference between the character now to what he was.
He really changed heavily, and honestly, I think in how Reggie was early 3.0 to how he changed, I mean, literally as a character. I mean, from management at Harmony to really like focusing on law, I think was a really interesting time for the character to have a really like huge dynamic change in his feelings toward other people.
So Mike, how'd you go with having Grizz as a lawyer?
That was fucking hilarious. Can I just say real quick before you answer, those final words to Grizz made my entire night.
He didn't even do a statement. Fuck that guy.
I didn't even know he was there. I didn't see him the entire. I guess I never looked left, but yeah, he's like, oh, and I was like, wait, what? I mean,
He was a news reporter.
he did better at being a lawyer than Jasper did. That's for damn sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
I would like to think a lawyer would do better at being a lawyer than Jasper.
Well, Jasper does everything perfect.
I felt so bad for you in that court case.
Yeah, I think you would have done better had you have known the limitations of more what you could do. I think that Jasper, then this is something that I was talking with Chad about, is that there's the potential that Jasper spent all of his time in prison learning law. So we could understand it all.
Yeah, that was my concern.
And that's what I was worried about, was you've got a lot of spare time, so you could have just, you know.
Oh, that's too much work. Learn law for one court case so Jasper can die.
Shut up! You want to make Mabel a lawyer?
Oh yeah, that'd be so nice.
Oh my
Fucking
god!
Mabel. Sent us all on a wild goose chase too.
Oh no.
Oh no!
We're fucked.
Is this gonna be another lawyer that I cannot listen to, like Grizz?
Listen, Grizz is my favorite comedic value by far, because I knew today, even when he was like, Your Honor, do I have time to talk this over? Or whatever he was saying after the verdict was put, I was like, Grizz is just looking for the no from Holden, because he got shut down immediately.
Chris having to say tit juice in court. Yes, that was great. That was something.
I missed that. What the fuck?
Yeah, they were talking about Winsong's can of milk.
Oh, we heard about this at the PD
Wrangler's
meeting. And I was
conservatorship.
Yeah, I was so confused about that in the meeting today. They were talking about it. I'm like, what the fuck did I just hear?
Yeah.
Yo,
I don't know, I think that it would have been
Byron,
cool to
thank you
see.
so much for the 16 months. I appreciate
Jasper
you. What's going
know a lot
on?
more
You guys
about
are
law
fucking
and-
best, dude.
Really start nailing that down a little bit and throwing everyone off.
He started off strong, and I was like, oh, he did do his homework. Fuck.
Honestly, I think the way that he reacted to his verdict, I think the way that Jasper reacted was exactly how I anticipated him doing it, and just laughing it off was something else.
Oh, it was terrifying.
Oh, it was great. It was so
It was very
Jasper.
fitting. Yeah.
Because not a lot of people would have that reaction. Even I think you threw Holden off too, which I feel like for someone like Holden, he probably doesn't see often, because I think he was startled by it too.
It was like, it's something funny, Alvin, and it's like, yes, this entire thing is fucking hilarious.
Because it's what
If he
Alvin
had-
wanted.
If you had your time back, would you take the court case a different way?
Oh, no.
Yes, I have never. I've done one court case my entire 3 years on NoPixel, and it was on leave for drug trafficking. So I had no idea what like recalling was. Just damn it. None of the videos being brought up and like really talked about in depth, and then knowing that I could have gone up on the stand. Like, I was waiting to be called as a witness, and everyone's like, oh, you know, the Fifth Amendment or whatever. Like, he doesn't have to say anything. It's like, but they didn't even ask me. Like, yeah, of course Jasper would go up there. Why wouldn't he? Like, what are you gonna say?
Isn't it a
Was it
rule
you
where
on
we
the
can't
other-
actually ask the defendant to come up to the stand
Yes.
as prosecution?
Yeah, so you can't get the defendant to come up and force them to waive their Fifth Amendment right. So then that only leaves it for when their defense's side. So
I think Jasper would have won if he went up on the stand.
Oh, 100%.
Because listen, the entire court case was about phone calls, right? From unknown numbers, and then it's like, Jasper, were you the one making these phone calls? No. Oh, there you go. You lost your whole case. Wasn't me on the other end. Prove it.
I think a lot of it, though, I think a lot of our approach, and I say our, but really a lot of what Flop's take was for the prosecution was questioning Ash. I was there for some of it, but I wasn't there for all of it, so I can't take a lot of the credit. I think a lot of the prosecution's approach, though, was linking the things said in the phone calls to things that were mentioned in videos and trying to link everything together to show that like there's a consistency, which could have easily been proven on your side to, you know, say, hey, that wasn't me. But I think that our argument was about as good as we were gonna get. And I think that if you had an opportunity to try and fight it, I think you would have had the opportunity to change the outcome to the verdict. I don't know if you might have gotten out of the death penalty, but I don't know if the verdict would have actually changed. It would have been interesting to see, though.
Yeah, the main thing was for prosecution to be like, oh, he's consistently calling all these people that are victims. Oh, there's also evidence linking him to 3 of the crimes as well as Ash's crime. And then him being like, yeah, you know, I did push Faith in a meat grinder and fuck Tate. Tate sucks. And
Tate does fuck though.
look, he just liked his pudding hat, all right? The poor guy.
Tate was dressed like a little bitch.
Man, Tate was heartbreaking, dude. I truly thought Jasper was gonna let him go.
Dude, okay.
Jasper lied.
Okay. 2 things. Number 1, it was so hard for Flop to keep the fact that he shot him in the face from Ash. And 2, I was really hoping during your impact statement you were gonna mention the cake, and you didn't.
You know, I wrote my impact statement at 4 a.m. last night. And I'm gonna be honest, it was like 700 and something words.
Yeah, mine was long. Go ahead.
And then Sherry went up, and Flop went up, and Lucas went up, and Reggie went up, and I said with Ash to Reggie, I said, you know, like, is this supposed to be like hit and dip sort of thing, like quick? And he's like, no, I'm gonna say a long thing. And I was like, okay, good, I'll just say my whole thing that I wrote. And then he got up there, said like 3 words, and went back, and I was like, holy shit, I can't read off this whole thing.
3 words?
I mean, listen,
it was a paragraph.
It was at least a paragraph.
I was gonna do a bit more on Reggie, and then I thought, no, I'm gonna go with the aggressive approach on Reggie, and then Ash is gonna send it home with the feels. Because if you add
what
that,
if I did the aggressive approach with Ash?
because you don't have an aggressive approach.
I could.
Emotionally
That's a
aggressive,
fucking
I would
lie.
think so.
That's a lie.
Listen, it was aggressive in the saddest way.
What I did was, if you shock enough people with the things that Reggie says and with his aggressive approach, and then you turn around and you hit them with a bit more of a tender hand, which is what Ash was going to do. Ash's message hits home more to a judge from doing that.
I loved Reggie's little. I was like, what the fuck is that? It was so funny.
So that's why I decided to go with that kind of approach. I was going to break everything down, and then I'm just like, no, actually, I'm going to let Ash send it home with this.
Can we talk about, speaking of, and I will mention, I did paraphrase my impact statement a lot, because I was going to say a lot more, but I ended up skipping almost half of mine. For sake
I wish you did.
Well, I mean, a lot of mine was talking about how Flop, you know, was a civilian, went through some traumatic stuff, became an EMS to try and help people he knew and didn't know, and follow that through the Unified Police Department. But I was like, I don't think people want to hear my backstory, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for just what we're here for today. But I will say, out of every impact statement, Grayson's, I think, surprised me the most.
I felt really bad because I couldn't hear him, and I didn't want to like just be like, hey, can you like speak up? I have no idea. I have no idea what he said. Oh my god,
this fucking... Please!
Yeah, I was gonna yell out fucking yell, because I'm pretty sure
you couldn't hear him either?
Yeah, he was talking normally.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. Well,
I have no idea what he said.
I understand why he did it, and I explained it to the people that were around me, because you could feel that there was tensions there.
Sure.
And the reason he did it is, by being a judge, you also need to show that you do have compassion, and the death penalty isn't something taken lightly, and some of the judges disagree with the death penalty. So that's why they're going to speak out on the death penalty, not the person themselves.
Well,
which is what he was doing.
Yeah, he's not afraid of emotional torture.
I will say too, I think knowing that someone was there to defend Alvin, I think was nice to see too, because knowing that Alvin, and I mean, Mike, to be honest, we all know that you struggled a little bit with getting a team to actually fight the case. which was unfortunate.
That was upsetting.
Yeah, it genuinely was rough. But to know that Grayson was there to try and like turn around and be like, time the fuck out, I was like, holy crap. Because I don't think anyone expected it, and I think it was really cool to hear. Although Flop's mentality on the approach was Grayson's dead, because you know, I was just thinking that Grayson's about to say some dumb shit, but knowing that Reggie was there to be the voice of reason probably saved someone from doing something dumb.
I think it was good that he spoke.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
Mike, your thoughts on Grayson talking?
Came out of nowhere. I was expecting like some DOC to say something. I spent this entire time in prison making sure Jasper didn't act up or stab anybody, because then they could go up there and be like, "Oh yeah, Jasper's such a nice guy."
Yeah, where was DOC?
They were dealing with something.
I even had Jasper save some DOC's life after he got stabbed, and Jasper went up and held pressure on the wound, and Jasper wouldn't fucking do that. And then he told someone later, "Yeah, I'm just doing this so, you know, he'll say something good at the trial." And then none of them said anything, and Jasper's just like, "You know what? I wrote that whole Scarface like thing down, and as everything was going on, I was like, I'm gonna do this quote from Scarface. This is what we're gonna do."
I'll ask that right now. Can we talk about your therapist arc? What the fuck was that?
What?
You had a
About
therapist?
how you said that you wanted to be a therapist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jasper, it was bullshit. But I want to turn a new leaf. I'm gonna be a therapist. I was like, am I hearing this right? Like, what the fuck?
And she was like, "No, please God, no! You're just gonna tell people to start killing people. You know what? Give it up. Do it."
You know what?
he was doing
when
great.
You have
Like,
attention, just do it.
all the Smileys were coming to prison, and Kieran was like, "Oh yeah, I don't think I can kill people anymore." And Jasper's like, "Do it, pussy. Go stab as many people as you need to until you get that back."
Oh my god.
If I
Oh my
the
God.
arc that we spoke about. Jasper and Reggie were talking on the phone once, and like whenever Reggie talks to Jasper, like we get off tangent very often, and we talk about some wild fucking things. And one of the things that we spoke about was is having a Reggie on a therapist arc, which he consults to Jasper's soul, and like carries Jasper around with him everywhere. And then ends up being these two people that just are the most wild therapists that just fuck with people to the point where we just mentally fuck them that they start becoming serial killers themselves. We're just like, oh, we're just therapists. We're just helping them. That would have been a very entertaining arc.
Still a good idea.
It
I
is.
mean, if he was alive, Sag. I have a quick question for
DOC.
you, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just DOC dropped the ball there.
Oh yeah, DOC definitely. That was a whole other story that we could talk about too. But a quick question for you, Mike. Someone asked, was Jasper ever close to getting caught before he finally did get caught?
Obviously not. You know how many streams I have to have pulled up? I'm totally kidding.
Fucking body cam, I got it again, son of a bitch.
15 monitors, dude.
Oh shit, Flop's coming. Phase up. There was a lot
That's
of.
the biggest
That's
joke. Is
one
thinking
thing.
that Flop would have done something.
My favorite thing about Jasper has been that he's so careful but so sloppy at the same time. Like all the meetings with Hannah Baker and just grabbing Reggie out front of Uwu, almost having people in the area when he grabbed Ash. Like it's never perfect, and if people could see it from my perspective, like almost every conversation I ever had with Hannah, there were people coming out there to the middle of nowhere, like the abandoned apartments or that
Dude,
pier
it
up
happens
in.
so often to me.
It's like who's here? Why do I hear footsteps? Someone's listening right now. So by cops, I don't think that. I mean, I never got stopped by police, which was really surprising.
I'm sort of when Jasper took Ash, I don't know if you saw this, Mike, but Raul was literally right next to us. Like, he saw us. It's quite
Motherfucker.
lucky. It's quite lucky that Reggie didn't answer his phone, I suppose, because
Useless cunt just tries calling me and instead of just messaging saying emergency, pick up.
he was right there. Like, we were so close to being caught. Like, that was a bit. He was right there.
That's actually insane.
I sat out there scoping out the area looking for payphone, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna call as Mr. Smiley or Carcer World and see if she'll meet me out here in the middle of nowhere. And there was no one out there the entire time, and as soon as I make that phone call, it's like motorcycles, big trucks, and it's like, what is everyone doing? It's like people know.
Yeah.
So one of the fun things with SCU is when we have meetups with people, we always try and find discreet locations, and it always amazes me.
Bro, the amount of times that we do that shit in this.
Yeah, and people, like, someone's fucking around, and you're like, why are people here?
Yeah. Like, I specifically go out of my way to find a lot of the locations that I do meetings with people, and no one's ever there. I go to meet with them, and then the next thing, fucking people are rocking up to check some fucking box. It's just like, what are you doing?
It's amazing how often that happens.
The fucking dead. So another question. Hayes, what was your thought about Dan almost throwing the fucking case and getting involved with that?
I can help answer that
Oh, my
too.
fucking
We
God.
fucking panicked.
I'm still confused about
So Hayes wasn't really panicking. Hayes was setting up a warpath against Dan and actually got all of SCU to agree to fucking dump Dan if he did anything.
Hell yeah, Dan.
Because it was just
Dan's reason
to
was
the
personal.
point where he was focusing on Reggie too much, and Hayes was just always like, will you fucking listen to me for 5 seconds? Reggie was helping. You were just not a part of it. Believe
Simon,
me.
thank you for the 18 months,
I
brother.
know
How
you
you
didn't
doing?
want me being the main
Thank
on
you.
the case, but I was the main on the case, and I didn't let you take it. So you gotta fucking listen to me, Dan, you son of a bitch.
Him coming up in court and then Ash's reaction to it is just like, okay, buddy, now you face the wrath of how Reggie is because you're fucking with Ash.
Yeah, did I fuck that up? I felt bad about that, like, the whole
No.
time after.
No, that was
Okay.
that was perfect. Like Dan coming up and being like, oh, how does it feel seeing your best friend up on the stand? Just like, best friend what? Huh? Ah!
He's not even on the stand. He never got to go to the stand. I was ready for Jasper's stand rambling.
I was so ready for that too, and that killed me. I'm just like, damn it.
Well, my lawyer said we'd recommend not doing it. And I'm like, well, what are they gonna ask?
Fucking Grizz.
Hey, Alvin, are you a serial killer?
No. See,
Fuck.
easy. Not guilty.
Oh, there's the whole case going.
Yeah. Shit.
So next one, Jasper. What did Jasper think about how crazy Seaside went after the Smileys and stuff?
Huh.
Were you expecting it that hard? Because that was rough.
Yeah, that got kind of out of hand.
It got way out of hand to the point where PD was just mad at it.
We literally just let it happen at one point. We were just like, fuck it, whatever.
I'm not even investigating this at this point. They're doing me a favor. Thank you.
Because no one gives a shit about the Smileys.
Gee, if I knew it was gonna blow up that big, I would have saved Ash for the end. I had this idea. I already had the list. I already reached out to people, OOC, like, hey, are you down to do a video if Jasper's able to grab you in the future? And then it was like, oh, things fall in line, and then Ash gets taken, and it's like, well, you can't. No one's gonna live up to this. So everyone else I kidnap from here on out, they're not going to get the same response, and they're going to be like, well, why didn't anyone look for me?
Why didn't anyone look for me?
Feels bad.
Excuse me.
Are you
I looked
fucking
for your
kidding
dumb
me,
ass
Reggie?
As I was on a trip to a different fucking state, sitting there, Keck W.
On their rescue, or the time during the capture? I think that was already answered, Star.
Dude, my poor character had to organize so many search parties for the two of you, and it was such a nightmare.
Oh, they're so chaotic, the search parties.
Can I make a comment about the search parties?
Mm.
For the PD, obviously we expect that people are gonna do search parties. When it came to Reggie and Ash being kidnapped, I can't speak for everyone in PD, but Flop as a character was genuinely like curious about, like, he was stuck between a rock and a hard place, because while you're looking for people, because Flop was looking for Reggie and Flop was looking for Ash and finding any information and evidence, but you'll be driving in like a discrete fucking location and a car, like a BMW, would just roll up to you and be like, yo, have you seen Reggie? And I was like, what the fuck? Everybody was looking for you guys. Every fucking person. And it became
That's
almost
not true.
comical.
There's grinders out there still.
Oh yeah, but like people just run out to cops and they're like, yo, have you seen? And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Oh, we've been looking for Reggie for 3 hours. Oh, okay. Or we've been looking for Ash for the last 2 days. Oh, okay. But it was like, it was crazy how many people were looking for you guys.
Yeah, at a certain point, it was the Uwu Cafe, which is a force in and of itself. The Lost and all the Aztecas were out, like, just swarming the whole fucking island. I have a series of text messages on my phone from one guy saying, hey, I stole a boat and I went and checked the islands and I left it by this cove. And then I have a text from another guy saying, I found this abandoned boat by a cove. I don't know if it means anything. And it's just a series of all of them following each other around in circles. It was so fucking funny.
That is awesome.
Mike, did Jasper give Carlitos a fucking knife to stab him?
Of course he did.
Because I heard you talk about it, how you're like, and it was like, yip, 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 yip.
Aw, he's such a sweet boy.
He didn't. There was a prison riot. He just so happened to get arrested, and Jasper's like, "Here, take this shiv, and here's your chance, Carlitos." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stab them when they come through." And I was like, "No, stab me." And he's like, "Why would I stab you?" And Jasper's like, "Okay." Yip, 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 yip.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
There's a PD story with that too. We were in the middle of trying to get Jasper on a sealed case because we were like, Your Honor, this guy's gonna get fucked up. People want him dead. And in the middle of getting like Jasper down and everything, it became, oh, by the way, Jasper got stabbed. We were like, we fucking told you so. This motherfucker was gonna get stabbed.
I was so surprised that he unsealed that court case. I'm like, what?
That was amazing.
But it's also such a fucking brawn thing to do with Holden. Because obviously it makes it more of a spectacle for a lot of people and gets more people involved there. But then you've also got idiots who stand in the stand and just start talking all the time, and you kind of like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I had 3 people behind me just bullshitting, and then like halfway through they're like, what is this court case even about?
Yeah,
they're just
Well, I remember Bass when they unsealed it originally and Bass testified about it. And he said, we're going to unseal the case. Bass literally goes, well, guess we're going to see Copycat 3.0. See you guys.
Yeah.
He walked out.
Yeah, I said that with Ash too.
You guys got questions as well that you're getting, or what? Or was it just me talking the whole time?
Oh, I don't read chat.
Oh,
What the fuck?
Sorry, I'm not that fucking big to not have to read chat.
You don't
My
have
bad.
to be big to read chat. What? We're not.
Yeah,
I've got 17
I
people.
can't
Always
read.
ignores my
Just chilling.
messages.
I think I have a couple questions. Bear with me for a minute. I'm totally not playing another video game.
He's totally
doing?
playing another video game.
Can you bring up
Oh, that
Jasper's
was-
love for the Kardashians?
What?
Do you
Huh?
rem-
Look, I don't remember half the shit that was talked about on those phone calls.
Okay, so our doc had all of the notes and information in it. And one of the things that was brought up was that Flop mentioned, he's like, because you mentioned Cleo and Bryce. And Flop's like, honestly, they're like the Kardashians. You know that they're there, but you don't keep up with them. And Jasper is like, you don't keep up with the Kardashians? So I literally wrote that in notes, and forever in evidence that was there that Jasper keeps up with the Kardashians.
Oh, I tried to get you to go after Cleo, to fuck with Cleo so much. God damn it.
You wanted it so badly. And
I
honestly,
wanted it, yeah.
Flop almost let it happen too.
I was just like, do it, pussy. So we'll probably go around for the next one. Favorite moment / call in the whole arc. Favorite part in the whole arc, which is hard for me because there's so many different parts to it, but probably getting to be involved in an actual video because of the amount of work that I knew you put into all your cassettes before and involving all those people and everything that you did. That's probably like to be able to showcase that and to run with the outcomes from that was actually really cool for me. And that's probably my favorite favorite part of that whole arc is that I got to be involved in being in that. Next person.
I'm not going next.
Let's go down the list. So Scud would be next.
Well, you're at the top of the list for me.
Well, then why did you start first?
Okay. Scott?
She's right.
What favorite moment from the whole arc?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like again, I was mostly involved in like the search party aspect of everything, and everything else it was just me like geeking out because I don't know, the whole thing was super cool. I've tweeted
Hey,
it
what's
Mike
up,
Horrible
Brandon? How
about
you
it.
doing?
Like I loved this whole fucking thing. It was amazing. But honestly, for me, it was just watching
Why is my
everyone
crosshair
lose
fucked?
their
It's not like-
goddamn minds, man.
Why's my crosshair so small? I'm not used to that. It's weird.
Seeing personality shift from Reggie after he got taken, like where he was just lashing out at everybody, or just screaming at everyone at every opportunity he got. It was really cool. And then Ash just, I don't know, I kind of just geeked out the whole way through. It was really, really good shit. But probably Mabel fucking with everyone and telling a story about falling down a long ladder into a hole that sent everybody off on a fucking goose chase was so funny to me. Because they took everything that fucking Mabel said to heart, trying to think if there was going to be some kind of little clue hidden in there. And I was like, there's not going to, it's fine.
I don't
We'll just
fuck
go.
Mabel and her phone calls to Jasper. Fucking shit, Lord. Like literally, I'm standing in front of him on Reggie, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, let me just call this person." Puts the phone on loudspeaker. It's Jasper. I'm like, "Okay, dickhead. Okay, dickhead."
That wasn't canon. We retconned that.
Hayes' favorite moment.
I would say when Ash was found and everybody was just mad at Hayes, and then Jasper was disappointed at Hayes, and it's just like, I fucking found the person. I organized everybody. Everyone hates me. It was just great.
Wait, why were they mad at Hayes?
Oh, Reggie wanted to kill Hayes
What? Why?
Oh yeah.
because
the thing.
Reggie wasn't allowed out of the helicopter, and it was just suspended in the air.
Well, what were you supposed to do? Jump?
I was literally waiting for the right time for it to be low enough for Reggie to jump out without going down.
Do you want to know something?
What?
I had a timer set up on my phone, and if Ash was left hanging for longer than the timer exceeded, I would have just permed on the...
Oh, shut up, pussy! You ain't permering until there's a good Pokemon game.
I mean, there's already been 3 that I've missed.
Yeah, but they're not good ones. That's why I specified good.
Okay.
All right, Ash, you're up next.
Oh, so after, Ash met with Alfred at the jail, I had no idea that was you, Mike. I had no idea whatsoever. And I was so, I don't think I streamed it. I don't think I was live. I can't remember. I was so genuinely shocked. Like, I was so flabbergasted. I don't know if you remember that phone call. I genuinely didn't know what to say. And I just sat in the like in the middle of the street, just like, what? So I don't know. Like the different voices are incredible.
He's definitely got a skill with that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Chris, up.
So I have 2. I thought the moment that was discussed already, 2 things I've already kind of somewhat discussed, but I think were truly my favorite moments was one, when Reggie opened up to Flop and gave him a hug, and seeing that change in character was, I think, like super, super cool. And the other thing was the way that Reggie pretty much retaliated about having Flop be the guy that he spoke to. because honestly, when I found out that like SU was handling it in a different way, I was like, okay, no problem, and I kind of just like stepped away. And then when someone reached out and they were like, Flop, we need you to come back.
Oh, Reggie went fucking ham about that.
Yeah. But when because I was so taken back by it. I was like, I'm sorry, why do you need me for this? And they're like, he only wants to speak to you. I was like, you're fucking kidding me. So
that was a turning point in its own.
Oh yeah.
If Flop didn't come back to doing it, he would have handed everything over to the seaside, and they would have just taken.
Would have just let that happen.
Yeah.
Fucking
Reggie
awesome.
did stop them a lot and block them from knowing certain things.
Yo,
because
Beard, what's up, bro?
it was more of a, I don't want this just to go down to the gang part of just clapping me out. I want to see this whole arc go crazy.
Sure.
Which was also cool because it led to a bunch of frustrations with Reggie from the whole group.
Yeah.
Every time they found something out that Reggie already knew.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, actually, Simo.
Okay.
What was your reaction to pretty much the entirety of Seaside being like practically just fucking fed up with Reggie because he was working with the police and you weren't keeping them up to date?
I knew that he wouldn't get in that much trouble. Obviously, they would have been pissed off with him, but a lot of them understand that Reggie does things for a reason, and as frustrating as it might be for them, he still had a reasoning behind why he was doing what he was doing. They didn't agree with the reason. They were very vocal about that, but I knew that Reggie was also on thin ice with a lot of the things that he was doing.
Sure.
Because it's showing that he
Beard,
doesn't
I miss
trust
you, bro.
them.
How you been?
But that wasn't so much the case for Reggie. It was more of a, I want to handle this in a different way for a change, and basically let the PD shoot themselves in the foot. And if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, then it's good. If they do shoot themselves in the foot, then, well, fuck it, I know I've got a backup plan. And Reggie's always a person that loves to have backup plans. He needs to have a second plan to do with it. But I think that, oh look, Kung Fu's in chat too. Kung Fu, you're high up of Seaside.
Yes.
And you're someone who had to deal with Reggie not telling you.
KJ played a big part with Flop. I'd like to hear some of his input on that.
Do you want me to bring KJ in here? I can invite him to the server.
Force him. I know Reckless is in the chat too.
Oh shit! The
so
man
yeah,
himself.
I know that was always something that would have pissed them off, but I was also playing on the fact of that hopefully they understand and
Flop's list victim?
put a little bit of trust in Reggie that this will go a way that will benefit.
That's actually a good
the
question.
whole case itself. While we wait for Kung Fu and possibly Reckless, like favorite part.
Oh, it made it back to me. Whew.
I wasn't letting you get off that easy, bitch.
I mean, it would be easy to say that I enjoyed every single 45+ minute phone call. It's really hard to pick. I would say
there were so many phone calls, man. I enjoyed them.
I think the peak of it, the one time that I 100% felt like something was going to go wrong and I was going to get caught, was grabbing Reggie out front of Uwu. And it was just like, I had to step out of the truck because Reggie was on his bike, and it's like, if he doesn't get in the truck with a knife, like, okay, let's scoot it along. And then Reggie puts his hands in the air, like waving people down, like, hey, look at me, I'm getting kidnapped right now. Someone. Yeah. And it was just driving away, constantly looking over my shoulder, like, am I being followed? Am I being followed? Am I being followed?
That was ballsy, man. Like, I don't think anyone who hasn't seen the Reggie get taken, that was very ballsy in its own.
And I think, like, after, like, finding out, like, that you with Jasper had followed us, like, during the day, and we had no idea, that was crazy.
Yeah.
If you guys have any other questions, feel free to post, and we'll try and get through as many as I can. There's a lot to go through, but I'll do what I can.
Does Hayes believe that Reggie didn't tell anyone that he was going there?
she's kind of speculating that he may have told some people, but at this point, she doesn't really care.
Didn't Matthew know?
Matthew, so Flop was the only person that Reggie called before calling Jasper. Reggie had already left, didn't tell anyone why he was leaving, and that's why, Chris, if you remember, Reggie said, "Whatever happens next, just remember this is on you."
Yes.
Which was I was setting it up for if Reggie does get fucked up by Jasper and he dies, then
How do I
that's
not have a
something that Flop's
gun?
gonna
I'm
have
fucked.
to live with and think about.
Wait, what are you talking? I thought you meant what?
So, some context. Reggie contacted Flop and pretty much, well, I forget what the reason for saying it was, but the TLDR is that if anything happened to Reggie, Flop would have had to live with someone dying for the rest of his life. He put like a humble threat against Flop to be like, listen, if anything happens now, this is on you.
It was basically a bait for him to start searching and knowing something was going to happen, and also setting up so if something does happen to Reggie that that Flop has to think about that. But the point was Reggie was pissed off because he wasn't allowed to leave the helicopter, and he said that I trusted you guys, and we had a deal. You guys broke the deal, so whatever happens next, just know this is on you.
Can I be honest?
Yeah,
We were
you forgot
all
all
like,
about it.
we were all like, Reggie a bitch, because we were like, this guy yelling about nothing right now.
Okay, pal. I've seen how much Reggie
He
was
was,
a bitch of a permit.
He was really crying, but it was mostly because Hayes saw him talking on the radio, so she knows he was communicating with someone. She doesn't know what was said.
He was
But
on the
she's-
radio that he told, he told you the radio. He was on the radio with Chico.
You can't look. Cross hasn't told her how to be on 2 radios at once. She still doesn't know.
There's a secret to
Alright.
this.
Now that Kung Fu and Chico are there, what were your thoughts about Reggie hiding all the shit? In character thoughts, obviously.
What was the
In
question? Sorry.
character thoughts, Chico felt like that they didn't trust us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't trust us with the shit. To be completely honest. It was
Okay.
like Chico wanted to help, but he couldn't do anything because he was left so much in the dark.
What with you not saying anything?
Yeah.
I thought there was a reason behind it. Like, how should I put this? Like KJ, he trusts Reggie. Like Reggie is one of his trusted ones, and if Reggie doesn't say anything to KJ, KJ understands there's the reason behind why he's not giving that information. But it was frustrating the time when you called KJ down to the airport and looked for Ash, and you were so secretive, and then I didn't hear from you and shit like that. So it came to a point it was frustrating. But from KJ's point of view, like KJ have known Reggie for so long time, and it happens before as well, where Reggie have hold KJ in the dark with a lot of stuff for some reasons, and the reasons always comes, you know, further on. So like Down Under understood why he was doing what he was doing, and KJ understood as well that he was holding back. He didn't know the reason, and that was getting to a frustrating point. And I think that's why as well KJ went, you know, the flop side with stuff, because he didn't get what he needed from Reggie's side of the side, if that makes sense.
I remember KJ called Flop and Flop practically ignored him.
Yeah. So the reason when you ignored KJ started to, first of all, KJ is trying to figure out, you know, where Flop stands with everything, and he hears from other people you can't trust Flop, and he doesn't trust Flop, but at the same time he's poaching the bear and see where the bear is, basically where he will, if Flop will like turn this tide per se. That's why he dropped, you know, the shit with the Smileys, and dropped, you know, the leader of the Smileys ID card in front of Flop to see if somebody or something came back from that shit.
Which honestly, I'll tell you a quick story about that. Flop internally got in a lot of trouble for that. Because I filed the subpoena for you, and then there was a big internal thing with the PD, because I guess something came up and there was a miscommunication with high command. And the whole thing was a miscommunication, but it actually caused a huge internal war over that ID.
No shot.
Yeah, yeah. Flop got in a lot of trouble for that.
Typical Flop, always getting this shit.
That's funny though, but it was frustrating in the beginning because I think like I don't know, I can't talk for Reckless, but like for KJ and I think the rest of kind of like the Seaside people, we are ex-gangsters, you know, we are used to deal with issues the way with guns out, you know, rolling cars, find the people, use our resources, you know. But when you're looking per se for somebody who wouldn't or doesn't want to be found, you know, it was a hard thing. So we started to go after what we could per se, so, you know. So the Smiles got a hard one out of this one. Like we were like, fuck all the serial killers. If they want to fuck with us, we're gonna fuck with all of them.
which was by the way, I think one of the most interesting arcs I've seen on the server, because usually gangsters don't fuck with serial killers, and watching the way that like gangs were actively like seeking serial killers, I was like, these guys have no idea what to do with these gangsters. These guys are fucked.
Yeah, they normally pick on people from the farmers market. Then all of a sudden, fucking Seaside rolls up with machine guns and pipe bombs.
Yeah, but like I think it was only one time that it actually happened that they got shot at by Seaside, and that's when they were trying to act gangster at the shit. It was a little bit different. Like
I want to try and get to these questions, but a lot of people talking. I'm gonna do my best to let them answer questions.
Benji,
I like you guys to put them in chat if you have any. This way I can go back and actually, you know,
like what Chico wanted to do. Like Chico is like, he has that torture factor to him that he enjoys, and everybody was just like following him and looking towards him for guidance. Some of them had some ideas, like KJ wanted to do a couple things, but he still let Chico take the forefront of it, and it was completely different. Like we didn't go at it with like a gang mentality. We went with it as...
No, you had that in the like you always have that gang mentality per se, but like we understand this is like a different world as well, and we want to give something back. Like we're all role players and we're all gangsters, and we are down to just drop your ass and rob your person basically, but we're down to give you give you something as well. Like you can role play always, you know, like I think all in the Seaside is like that, you know, like it's the same with the cops and everything. We try to give something so you can get some more out of what you're doing per se, you know, like it evolves, it moves forward, more shit comes out of one incident per se.
Mike, did you expect this to branch out so far when when starting up the arc?
No, because, well, like I said earlier, it was just supposed to be a copycat, and it wasn't until I even kind of gravitated towards people that I knew in the beginning, like the same cops, trying to get Dan Faley involved in it again because it's who I knew, and it was like the only cop investigating that I knew anymore. It wasn't until Reggie came back into the picture that it opened up the possibility, because I've always been about involving anyone who wants to be involved. If you want to be involved in the storyline, I'll find a way to fit you in, because that's what it's all about. Like, I don't want Jasper to be just a serial killer versus PD situation. I wanted it to be impactful across the board. Like, invite as many people in as you can, as long as you know OOC that they don't just want to be involved to be the one that shuts it down. Like, I want to be the hero, and yeah, I want to play my part so I can shoot you the first time we have a meeting. It's all about getting the right people involved that you can trust to let it slowly burn.
Because that's at the end of it is, and I understand and definitely get that fear, and that's something like I love slow burn RP, and I know some people hate slow burn RP, and it's frustrating to them because you look at it from the outside and you go, why the fuck would they let this happen? And it's fucking hard, because you also got to think about the point of, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is this isn't just your storyline. This is everyone involved storyline. And then as soon as you end that storyline, that's it. It's over. And at the end of the day, we're role players that are creating a story. So you need to be able to further that story and give RP and include as many people as you want. But you also need to be sometimes a little bit more exclusive to ensure to keep the integrity of everything happening and moving, which it can be frustrating to some people because they might not understand it, but it's just also the point of, or hey, this isn't your time to shine and be involved in this, but your time can come and it will come. But this is the slow part of it.
You need to let your character get vulnerable, per se, you know, to keep the story moving, and that can be hard sometimes, per se, how your character is usually, or what you usually do.
100%. Playing Reggie like I did through when Reggie was taken was, and I mentioned this before, was incredibly hard for me. Incredibly hard for me.
Yeah, I think so for Ash as well when she got taken, you know, like all the shit, because both you, Reggie, and Ash is like pretty smart characters, you know, when it comes to in-game. They have so much knowledge, so much friends, so much stuff per se going if they want.
I'm scared right now. This is fucking insane.
Yeah. So that's always something, and it's also hard for the cops too, is they're balancing that I want to catch this person and I also want to see where this story goes, but I also don't want more people to die. I'm sure you cops can talk more on that.
I mean, I think a lot of it for us was finding leads and trying to work with leads and knowing that we want the story to continue, because you could see the time and effort put into it. There's a level of wanting to get an outcome and wanting to see how the outcome naturally happens. And for a lot of the story, watching how natural it happened was really something special. Especially with your level of roleplay, Mike, it really was, even if we didn't find Jasper, watching that level of RP come through was enough for us to be satisfied. If that makes sense. And I'm sure Zakel can also speak on it.
Honestly, I would pretend to be looking for Jasper, but I wasn't actually looking for Jasper because I didn't want to find him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's just like the story needs to continue. I know there's more people involved in it, so.
Well,
I'm just gonna be in the helicopter getting yelled at by everybody. Let's go.
We had so many days, myself and Zakel, we had so many days, Flop and Hayes would just go drive around and literally talk to locals. We would just talk to locals and be like, did you see a man, white jacket, you know, weird mask, earrings maybe, right? Like just the most random shit you could think of, just to have that moment. And it was really, it was just fun to watch it just happen. So,
have either, has anyone seen the moment where Reggie left Jasper and Chico took over? You guys actually seen it? The timing and the small amount of wording was just perfect, because Reggie's walking down with Jasper as Chico's walking up, and Reggie's just like, goodbye Jasper, and Chico's like, hello Jasper.
Like that right there was just like, I'm not gonna lie to you, when that happened, when you said bye Jasper and I said hello, like that shit sent chills, because it was just like
that ended, it was like a new thing
Reggie,
opened.
It was very smooth.
It was like Reggie passing the torch to Chico, like here. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was insane.
And then as I'm getting up the stairs, the cops are all arriving. And it was
I literally took a photo.
I just killed that person. Oh my God.
I took a photo of when you guys were just passing between each other.
Your timing of rocking up as I'm walking up the stairs was impeccable.
It was
like from my point of view, holy shit.
Like watching it from there, because I had like a little clip from both sides of like when the cops came and when I rolled up. It was crazy, like the instantaneous time of as soon as he got to the stairs, I'm already stabbing Jasper. As he gets to the stairs, you guys are rolling up. Like it's like crazy timing.
No.
Yeah, we were watching for a little bit, and then we saw Chico walk up with a knife, and we're like, oh.
3 seconds.
Okay, this is probably not going to be good. Let me try and get Air 1 out, so if they try to flee or something. And then Espinosa just says, Chico stabbed
the other guy, and it was just like, oh yeah, we all got to get to the fucking pier now. That's great.
That was so
How
funny.
did you guys feel like at that moment watching Chico stab? Like, did you guys hesitate? Like, I don't know about that. Like, you guys like
me and so Flop and Hayes were going to get I forget if it was Air One or something. We were
It
going
was Air One.
Air One.
I always get Air One, okay?
Yeah, listen, but we were getting Air One. And when I tell you we made the right out of that side street off of Great Ocean Highway onto Great Ocean Highway going south toward the city, we maybe were on that road for like 15 seconds, and Espinosa goes, "Oh my God, Chico just stabbed this guy," and we were like, "Fuck!" And so we immediately whipped a Yui and shot right back over, and immediately like tried to accommodate for that whole thing. But like seeing it from Espinosa's POV was insane because we didn't get to actually witness it. But watching Espinosa's point of view was really cool.
Just as a thing. So when Reggie was leaving, Reggie told Chico that he's only got like a couple of minutes before he calls the police.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Reggie was actually going to call the police as soon as he hit the stairs.
No, I knew that, and I figured, like, I was just like, yo, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I kind of had the idea that Grayson called because Grayson was like there the whole time, but I didn't know it was Grayson. Like, I didn't know, like, because I didn't have a really good visual. Like, all I was seeing was just like shadows, and you know, like I like Chico pays attention a lot, right? And fucking Reggie told him like the two places that he met was
Grayson came in clutch
and the Chumash Pier. And every time that Reggie wanted to have a meeting with Chico or the seaside, he would always bring him to the pier. When he talked about the judge shit, he brought him to the pier. When he talked about some other shit, was the pier. Like the Chumash was like literally Reggie's favorite spot to go.
So that was 100% authentic?
100% authentic.
That's crazy.
He didn't tell, he did not say anything.
I didn't tell anyone.
Chico knew. I knew exactly where he was going to go.
I didn't think that Jasper was going to show up, to be honest, because he didn't show up last time. So there was a whole scene in 2.0 where after Jasper did what he did to Bree, Reggie put a $300,000 bounty out on his head, and he put it out on Twitter. Right in front of the cops. Literally put a bounty on his head while Reggie was a lawyer.
I'm trying to get to the questions, but we're kind of just talking
Jasper
right now. I kind of want to.
Reggie, and
I'm
Reggie
gonna go back up and ask him if
Reggie actually went there unarmed that time as well. So it was like the second time of it happening, and both times had Jasper shown up and attacked Reggie, it would have been a coin flip perma. So that was always something. I do also need to mention this because it was mentioned in chat. I'm still sorry about doing the Wenmo Pepe hands. I didn't even think about that.
That's enough, dude. I'm done. I'm out. This is fun.
Did the Wenmo
Fuck everybody.
Like the ending of the arc? Like, did it speed it up? I don't quite know.
It didn't really speed it up. It just gave the police his actual name. That's really only it.
Did I ruin something?
What is the Venmo incident? Can you explain that for us who doesn't know?
All right, so this was with the whole airport thing around that same time, right? And which is why Reggie wasn't talking too much to KJ, was because he was talking to Jasper. And Jasper said that you have to pay for an advanced viewing of the video. Otherwise, he'll just release it to everyone. And we're saying, oh, I want $100 for it. And I didn't even think about it, right? And I personally don't like it when people send $1 to see who it is, because that's a very powerful thing through Venmo. And then I fucking sent him $2,500 through that. Didn't think about anything. And then fucking Espinoodle's just like, oh, you sending money through Venmo? Can we get that bank transaction? I'm like, fuck.
Ooh.
Fuck. And it has his name on it. I'm like, oh, fuck me. I fucked up.
Venmo.
I fucked up. But did that change anything? Like, did you have something cooler ready for releasing the name?
Cooler? No. Did it impact the storyline? 100%. I made a big post about it. crying about it in my Discord. Pretty much just explaining like just why this Ash was going to be the
Honestly,
end, because
kind of cool.
I was already fighting with that
I know it's the
idea.
play.
Like, okay, if Ash does get found,
I know
like
it's
the
the play.
next victims aren't going to be as impactful. Like, should this be the end? I was toying with the idea. And then when that came up and it was like Jasper lost his one superpower, because the only power he's had this entire time was that no one knew who they were looking for. They didn't have a name. They didn't really have any idea what he looked like. He was always changing. I feel like I maxed out my closet with outfits and was just switching between them all the time. And then once I knew that they had the name, it was just like, all right, it's the Ash video was a good time to end it. So I stayed in the area at the fire tower to intentionally get caught, and then didn't get caught.
So the way that it worked out for
Wait, what fire tower?
There's a fire tower in Polito, just north of the
Oh,
chicken
when
factory.
you're there, the Pluto one.
The one I hinted about 100 times, Reggie.
Yeah, okay,
The
fuck
fire tower, fire, fire, fire. The city's on fire. I'm watching the city on fire crawl out of the fire.
Reggie's trying to be the smartest one in the room, but he barely are, you know.
Okay, get fucked. It's so
Reggie
hard.
is just focused on saving Ash, okay?
It's so hard though, because like you will
There we
give
go.
so many of like hints of that will mean absolutely nothing, and then some other hints that mean the world, but you're not going to find out till afterwards, and you look back at it. And this is something that I mentioned about Jasper to pretty much everyone, is you like what he says means something, and then it's not going to be till you have this oh shit moment when you think about it and go, oh, this makes sense now. And that's like the best part about it, which is why I love how cryptic it was through the whole story.
I have a question for Hayes. Did you ever find out who tortured Hannah Baker? Like in character?
In character, Hayes knows that it is probably Kenneth Jasperson just because of the whole
Statute of
smiley
limitations
Parker world.
not over.
No, it's not over, but it's not a lot to go on other than, you know,
Oof.
the smiley face. And that's the issue a lot of times with serial killer cases is I need 7 different cases to point to one person so that I can start actually prosecuting them.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I should say it, you know, 'cause still saying that the statute of limitation is still there, but
So it was you.
It was Jasper.
it was Chico. That I don't know if you in the
Crack the case.
Logging into arrest
Sandy
him now.
Shore, in the Sandy Shores, in the little meth lab up top of the store. I left 2 pieces of evidence there. It was the gun and the blade, and I didn't have any fingerprints on it either. Like, I mean, I didn't have a glove on. I had those fingerprints on it. I'll be right back.
Gloves,
So
fingerprints.
I left it.
Here we
People
go.
just
again.
keep
I left
taking
it.
off their gloves.
Like I left it. I did it on purpose, and it's more of the like come get me, you know, kind of thing. It's like I want to extend the RP a little bit. Just come get me.
So this is
You
a
know,
different
whatever.
Hannah Baker torture. Okay. There's a
Yeah.
couple.
This one was because of Hannah Baker being close with Jasper, and you know, it's just like you are one of the reasons why my sister, which is like Chico's sister, is Ash, it got caught because you allowed this shit to go down because you was a friend and you didn't tell people about it.
Back
And you
with
could have
three.
got him too. So it was just like a domino effect of shit of why it didn't happen. And so yeah, I fucking tortured her for a bit, and then when I seen that it was going nowhere, it was just done and over with.
I was so surprised that you didn't speak at the trial with Chico.
I'm gonna be honest. The reason why I didn't speak was because I didn't have any time to actually prepare. I didn't know exactly what to say. Like, and I didn't want to just fucking make fun of the situation. Like, oh yeah, I wish you died when I stabbed you. You know what I mean? It's just like I didn't really know what to say. And like, if I had more time to actually prepared, I would have had a different situation. But you like, I was told right on the spot, like, hey, you want to talk? Like, fuck.
All right. I want to
so-
say
I
this.
told you with Ash.
I want to say this real quick. But Jasper a pussy for not biting back when Reggie was fucking doing his. What's going on, Mike? I fully expected you to bite back and taunt Reggie.
I did love the Reggie standing directly in front of him and facing him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was
And
like,
it was just
okay.
it was so much of a Reggie thing to do that I was expecting it fully. I'm gonna be honest.
Well,
Like, he wanted to look him in the eyes. He didn't want to look at the judge. He wanted to look at Jasper and tell him, "Fuck you. This is what's gonna." You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just a Reggie thing to do.
The reason Reggie did that was because Reggie doesn't give two flying fucks about Holden's thoughts on it. Reggie wanted to have his final words to Jasper.
I think that's what made it so powerful, though, was that the idea of an impact statement is that you're trying to not sell it on the judge that, like, this is the right verdict, but to convince and to show through the impact. I mean, literally the impact statement, right? You're trying to show that there was an impact in what happened to the victims.
How this person impacted your life.
Yes.
Basically.
And the fact that Reggie went up and literally said, Holden, go fuck yourself, and just completely neglected Holden, I was like, holy crap, that was cool. I'm glad that Holden picked up on Ash walking around, though. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was like when Ash went up and she started doing her emotional shit. I was like, oh well, Jasper's
Hey, you want to play marbles?
verdict is sealed and set. There's no coming back from that. I was just like, that's it.
Play marbles for a couple?
I was like, oh, Jasper's dead.
So why didn't Jasper say anything, Mike, to Reggie? Or were you wanting to, or you just didn't think you could?
At that point, we had the verdict, but it was still on the table. I 100% was not expecting the death penalty.
I didn't until today.
Was anyone expecting the death penalty?
No.
I wasn't.
I wasn't.
I don't think we were either. Truthfully, the only time I
Holden's
realized,
all over the place.
yeah, the only time I really expected it was when he said that you're guilty for the cold cases too. I was like, whoa, because that's when I realized like Holden was not holding back.
Reggie,
that was
Timo,
nice.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Mm.
With this case, as you being a judge, with this case, if it was
Exclamation point join
if this
chat.
was like a different scenario,
Or exclamation point play. I'm
would
sorry.
your verdict have been the same? Like, you're not involved in this.
I wouldn't I wouldn't sentence him to death. I think that Holden was also holding on to previous things with Jasper himself. I personally would have liked to have seen Holden give his full verdict there. If you're going to be sentencing someone to death, they should be hearing it themselves on the full reason why, not that they can read it on a docket when they're dead. That surprised me a little bit. I kind of expected Holden to go into a full thing. Most judges will. Yeah. I know that we were short of time, which is something that played into it. But I personally, with what evidence was there, I wouldn't sentence the person to death. I wouldn't be able to say definitively that they had that they're going to die to it. Do I have some belief that they were involved in these things? Yeah, definitely. But is it enough for me to sentence someone to death? No. However, then you've also got to look at the fact of that this directly involved a judge. DOJ is going to look after their own. So if someone goes after someone and then that person turns out to end up being a judge, God help you. But that is also something that's going to come into play with it.
I'll let this go for a minute. I know
But
a lot
I
of
would've
people
let
are just
Jasper
chilling,
live
but if you guys want to play
being a shitlord in jail.
marbles, exclamation point play.
Which would have been
It's free.
Which would have been fun. I think him not dying and him being in prison would have been cool for another arc, because there could have been so many things that could have came from that. He could have gotten an apprentice to do things. He could have done some cool things in jail. Like, I was expecting
being alive is always like he's out there. He could be out there.
because you see how Ash like reacted to the third time's a charm, and she was ready. She was broken again. She was like, "He's gonna come get me," and it would have been so much more cooler to have him in prison, knowing that at any given time he could make phone calls to Ash again, or even potentially even be broken out.
Oh, 100% he would have been broken out. Are you kidding me? Motherfucker broke out 2 times already.
But that would have been so cool, and it was just like so much fucking. I've seen so much opportunities for so many things, and it's just like now that he's dead, it's just like, well, that idea is scrapped.
I have a follow-up question.
What's up?
If Jasper didn't get the death penalty, did you have a plan for prison?
Yes, multiple things. There was so many different ways that things could have played out. So many things and how it could have played out.
Wait, was that a Seaside question or a Mike question?
It could be both, honestly, because I know that
Because
both
what
sides would have
Seaside
had.
was supposed to do was hit the fucking transport, but none of these dipshits wake up or pay attention when we tell them that there's a court case.
Oh my gosh, I was so disappointed.
Same.
Were you really? I was glad that they didn't hit the transport.
I think it would have been amazing to have the execution and then have it stolen from PD or DOC. And it's like, because like Jasper said in the courtroom, DOC don't deserve to kill Jasper. They've fucking known him for a week.
I tried to get Reggie to be on the firing squad, but they wouldn't let me. Bullshit.
Flop tried for a second.
I would have used that MP5 and then I would have taken it and framed it in Reggie's room.
But
everyone thought that Reggie was going to gun him down with his MP5. Like,
you were too pussy to do it, you know.
Holden pulls Reggie aside and he's just like, just remember that you're a judge. Remember what you've got to do now. And I'm just like, well, why do you all think I'm just going to gun him down right now? Like, why?
I mean, because you did.
Would have done it plenty of other times. Well,
Put away your terrorist tendencies. Okay, you're a judge now.
Fingal deserved it. Being able to clap Fingal in court was great.
That was so funny. You're like, hey, can I try? And he's like, yeah. And then you shot him in the head.
I just aimed for his head, just one tap him.
That is so fucking funny.
Anyway, back on to Jasper.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Mike, did you have plans for Jasper if you got life in prison?
Toyed with the idea of, I think it would have fizzled out eventually because the arc was over. Like when he got caught, to me, the arc, it should have stopped. Like, that's why I made the deal with Jasper and Reggie to not have Ash be contacted by Jasper directly anymore. Because it was like, okay, I mean, it's like, I didn't want it to keep being drawn out. Oh,
okay, Mr. TikTok.
Okay, well, that was different. You can't prove that was me. That was an unknown number, Reggie. Didn't even sound like me.
I didn't know that was you. I had no idea. It was so scary.
I told you how I knew it was you. Mm-hmm. Your fucking dingle pop fucking. It was literally your dingle pop voice, just less frothing at the mouth.
Jesus.
Can we give everyone dingle pop's voice so everyone knows it now?
Wait, which one was Dingle Pop? I thought Dingle Pop was the one where I was like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, that was Dingle Pop.
Yeah, but the phone call was like, Dick, Duck,
Ship. But you also
scary.
You also had that point to it when you started talking more like Dingle Pop. When we were, because I was standing at the construction and you started talking more like Dingle Pop, not just foaming at the mouth. And that's what tweaked it to me. Was because the way that I put an image in my head for that voice, because that's what I'll tend to do is put an image in my head for the voices. And what I put in there was Stephen King's It Clown, right?
Oh, 100%.
It had some similarities to it. And then when it played with the recording that Ash got of it, I'm just like, that's the same image just popping straight to my mind. So I got you there, bitch.
Not as good as I thought. I did the entire time. I thought Jasper getting life would have been nice because I feel like prison could use more lifers that were built up on the outside that have not really connections, but have a story on the outside, has people constantly coming in that want him dead, has a reason to build up an arsenal and defend himself. And there could have been so much more chaos, because everyone in prison now is just, I mean, they're like, oh, I killed 197 people. And it's like,
Yeah, I've heard
shit.
some of the stories. Like, how are you not dead?
But I think you can get more meat on the bone as well on the lifers, because it's always good to get to
Watch your
prison
back
and roleplay
flop,
with
Mantis.
them.
What the
But
fuck
like
did
you
I
said,
do?
everybody's like self-insert
What did
towards
I
the
do,
lifer with like a
motherfucker?
backstory.
I don't
And
deserve
actually
this
get
shit.
somebody who's in there for life with
What's
an
up, brother?
actual
How you doing,
story
dude?
from Los Santos will like put a whole nother
Fuck you,
dimension to
Mantis.
the roleplay up there.
I can't wait for what Pepe's got planned.
Oh yeah, Ash, you can say your goodbye that you're gonna say now.
Yo,
Jasper.
Dag to
I
drop
was
his
just
6
gonna
months
say
to
goodbye.
Mantis. Thank you. I appreciate
All
you.
you wanted
What's
to do
going
was say
on?
goodbye, then
Can we get some
fucking you
Hearts
come
chat,
up and you
please?
say that and rattled the fuck out of her. She's
I
the
was
whole time she
really
just wanted to say
surprised.
goodbye.
I was like, oh, they can't hear me from here. And I was like, can I say some last words? And they started walking me over there, and I was like, they're gonna hate me for this.
Dude, when you started walking over, I literally was next to Espinosa. I was like, here comes the last laugh. And then when he dropped the ball, I was like, there it the fuck is. Saw that shit coming from a mile away.
Chico was trying to console Ash because she was like going crazy. That I turned my
You know
camera
what you did.
to look at her.
Which part?
And I didn't even see him
What
get
flop
fucking
shot
shot. I was
fucking
so mad.
Pepe?
I was like, fuck!
That
I
was
missed
great,
it.
man. I can't wait for whatever's to come with that. That's gonna be exciting.
But I think when you go back to like when you ask me, Reggie, like what's the hardest part of like being the outsiders per se and looking into it is actually both from Reggie and Ash when they came back from what happened to them. I've been thinking about that question from. I think that the hardest part is not when you get kidnapped or away. Like, I know that we were not like we are not mains in this story. We are just bypass. Like we are joining in and out per se of the story. But the hardest part, I think, from my point of view, is when you guys came back, when you guys was hurt and
Picking
you're
up the
basically.
pieces.
You're picking up the pieces, but you're standing there with basically you're just standing there watching at somebody who's broken as fuck, and you don't know what the fuck to do. I think that's a hard.
I think
What?
he was like, I think KJ was like one of the only ones who did some PTSD stuff with. Poor KJ.
Yeah, in the house with us. Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah, I didn't get to see practically any of the Reggie stuff until he was pretty much out of the wheelchair.
God, that
No.
wheelchair arc was fun.
I was
Then
not
every
too
now
much
and then,
good,
'cause-
but it was the hardest one. No, it's the hardest thing for me as well. But like personally, in roleplay, is like role playing the hurt or towards like people who experience some trauma stuff. You're always down to kill people, until look how badass you can look in the position, not how hurt you can be.
You guys are
and
no. This
feelings
is
per
LA.
se.
Yeah, that was
this is
so
just a
hard to
drive and
do.
listen thing. This is
You know what
this
would
is
have
like
been
a driving
badass?
simulation,
I'm
but
going
this
to
is
say it's because
LA.
someone said it from chat.
So
If Ash, instead of saying goodbye, Ash just went up to Alvin and said mouse trap and then walked away.
that was
That would have
yeah.
been badass as fuck.
That's what I was gonna say it when we
Give me one
went
sec.
there, like at the end.
Yeah.
Got derailed fast.
What would your reaction have been, Mike, if Ash just said mousetrap before you got shot?
Jasper would just laugh.
I think it would have been fitting.
It would kind of make it seem like she played it up because it was her impact statement and her questioning during the trial that felt the most impactful towards the verdict. And it's like, this motherfucker lied the whole time. She's fine. She's fine, Reggie.
No, I think
Jasper
her
was the real
PT
victim.
Imagine. That would have been a fucking twist and a half. That
Jasper
she's
felt the real pain.
Well, he's dead. Yeah, it's okay. Jasper's done.
I'm gonna
And
miss
Ash
having
is
Jasper.
fine.
Me too. Now I can't
Like,
stream
even-
anymore.
Like even though
Your partner, you're done.
like even though my part in the whole thing was like so fucking small. Like it's very minuscule versus like most of yours. It still was so fun to be a part of.
My
like,
ass,
honestly.
dude. You fucking you ended a 2-year investigation. I
Like,
mean,
it was
you
fucking-
I think you played a bigger part
What?
than you realize.
What?
What?
Reggie's the one that brought him there. What
Well,
do you mean he ended it?
No,
Well,
he's
fuck
the
yourself.
one that did it because he actually had the knife and he used it. Chico
Yeah,
saved the day.
it was unfortunate. Like, listen, I say this, like I said this in character and I say this out of character. It's unfortunate that the cops were there right at the time that they were, because I had like a whole like little scenario I wanted to go with it, and it's just like, right? Fucking Jasper was like, "Don't let the cop sirens stop you." Like, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not. I don't give a fuck."
Fucking gangster.
Like I wanted to continue. Like it was just, it was all right. The way that it ended was not ideal, but it was pretty dope at the same time.
I mean, here's the perfect ending. Jasper meets Reggie on the pier, stabs him, Reggie rolls and permas. Then Chico comes running in, stabs Jasper, and Jasper permas, and then Chico gets shot down by the police, and Chico permas. Holy shit.
Oh, guys,
That
it's
would
flop.
have been.
Then I don't need to deal with
listen,
Chico and
if
Reggie on a
that-
daily basis,
if
and I will be
that
like celebrating
happened-
with cake afterwards.
Can't you just go back to the Vagos?
I'll be honest. If that actually happened where Reggie permitted and Chico fucking Jasper permitted, I probably would have permitted too, 100%. Just to finish that all off right there. That would have been dope.
My perfect ending to that would have been something along the lines of, which sucks because of the whole judge arc, right? Is and if I wasn't a judge, I would have set it up like this, is alluding to the PD where Reggie was going to meet Jasper, Reggie stabbing Jasper, and then PD being there to witness it and gunning Reggie down and both
Look, it's
permit
flop.
out of that.
It's
That
flop.
would have been fucking.
I think it would be hard for the
It's
other
flop.
serial killers.
It's a fight
Reggie.
cop.
If you
It's flop.
perma to Jasper, like KJ will go on a rampage and fucking sacrifice every fucking serial killer in the city. Nobody would be safe as fuck. And like, if a serial killer,
You're dead.
no, like seriously, like the bond that KJ and Reggie has.
Well, this is LA,
it's so
so
strong.
this
So if
should
you
be
perma
accurate
to
to what
another serial killer,
GTA 5 looks like.
the other serial, like you should
Uh-oh.
make a serial killer character on NoPixel afterwards, man. You will be like, new one? Okay, you're dead. I'm gonna find you no matter what.
I think it's like, because a lot of you guys don't know, but the reason Reggie is how he is was actually like how Reggie went after serial killers, made it his life mission to go after serial killers. Whenever he finds one, regardless on who they're fucking with, he is going to go out of his way and murder them. And the reason he did that was care of Jasper, because of what he did to Bree and how much that rocked his world. Before that, he didn't have an issue with serial killers. He didn't have an issue with what Jasper was doing or anything like that until that moment where he attacked Bree. And
When
then
did he
from then on-
attack Bree? Was that when you went into that fucking arc when you was up in Sandy? When I had the talks with you and stuff up there? Or was that something else?
When did I go to Sandy?
That was when you were like doing that, you had the Killer Mosque arc shit.
No, that was well before that. That was in 2.0 that he attacked Bree and her.
Oh,
Bree.
2.0.
So this
Okay.
was actually Jasper, not Alvin. And it was when Reggie just became a lawyer. And that was why it was Reggie's
What was
first
this?
court case.
Oh.
Another fun fact was, I've only told a few people, was if Reggie couldn't get Bree off the death penalty for her court case, Reggie was going to out himself for helping Jasper escape and helping Jasper with the stuff that he did in 2.0. So he was going to waive all of his rights and request to be put the sentence to death alongside Bree. But that, like, there was so much high stakes to do with anything to do with Jasper that I needed to keep high stakes again with this. And it was yeah, it would have been crazy if
Has
Jasper
Mike seen
actually did
Lysian's
attack
Jasper
Reggie there
video?
on the
I don't know.
too much.
I don't actually know. I don't even think I've seen Lysian's Jasper video.
Jasper too much of a pussy.
Jasper already attacked him and put him on a video. It was just like, I think because Jasper said that he was falling more in love with the mental torture instead of the physical torture. So it's like leaving Reggie alive to see Ash suffering is a better end game for him.
Oh no, that was much better. That was great to see the torture that you did through that. It was a complete different spin on what Jasper had done before, and it took a while for it to click onto what you were actually doing with Jasper and the whole list thing.
But I'm gonna head out. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and fucking was a fun arc.
It was a good
Have a good
time.
one.
Hell yeah.
Look forward to
Bye.
the next one.
Hey, I'm looking forward to.
Oh, God.
Go ahead,
I
say
think I
it.
never talked
Say
to
it.
you, Jasper. I think I never talked to you or heard your voice or anything. I don't think so.
I don't believe we did. No.
No. I was like a
I would
shadow.
have loved a KJ Jasper talk. That would have been funny. KJ would have been
Oh.
Peeper talking, and Jasper would have been Peeper talking, and honestly, it would
Oh,
have
it
been
would
a
have
good
been
convo.
a 2 hour conversation, 100%.
2 hour
KJ
conversation.
talks
Yeah.
are some of my favorite things that ever happened.
Oh man, I love to have like slow burn shit. It's funny. It's good. But yeah, I see you guys. Thank you so much for like being the small part I had in this. It's always funny, and I hope we
Hell
get
yeah.
more in the future. Both with cops, serial killers, gangsters, whatever. Role play.
Hell yeah,
Seaside
dude.
cops.
Hell
Hashtag
yeah.
Seaside PD.
Yup. I know.
Okay.
Okay, I see you guys.
I got another one. Was there intentions to make the similarities, or not the similarities, what's the words that I'm trying to fucking think of? Did you intend to make Reggie believe that Jasper was seeing Ash as Abigail? Was that just Reggie's delusions pushing it into play?
I don't remember which came first, honestly. Because I played on it after the fact. It was brought up once, and I kind of took a lot of those ideas.
Was this you just capturing
I'm gonna
random
let
video for
everyone in on a
background? Nah,
secret.
this is one of those websites where it just does random
I'm
things.
not
I can
some
go anywhere.
crazy mastermind. A lot of these ideas come from other ideas, like Tom and Jerry, for example. But I feel like Reggie mentioned it to Jasper before that he was seeing Ash as his sister, and then Jasper just took that and like ran with that idea.
I think it was Reggie that said it first. The reason he was doing it was to see how the person he's talking to on the phone bit back about the sister, to see what was left of it. And there was a lot of things that Reggie did just to push Jasper's buttons to see what happened, where they'd go and see how he'd bite with it. But a lot of the times it actually flew back in his face, much to what Reggie would have thought. Because Reggie's a person that likes to control the talks and the conversations, and that would rarely happen in conversation with Jasper, because Jasper was always the one that would end up controlling it.
Well, with Jasper, like anytime Ash brought up Abigail, you'd hang up the call. So I thought it was more so you starting the direction of that.
Oh yeah, did you ever see Benji's diss on Jasper?
Yes. Out of character, right? Was that spread through the city? Okay.
No.
Hey, give me 1 second. I'll be
Thoughts?
right
Yeah,
back.
the-
2 seconds.
I mean, it came out quick. It was hilarious, honestly.
His chat do be quick with those things.
I need to hire someone else to make the next arc.
It was also, I'll say it was also hard playing, and I dare say it's going to be the same for Ash, playing as vulnerable and as sad through those arcs when being around people that don't do those things that often. So the rest of
Oh.
Seaside and dealing with that, and it was also sometimes it was like we were getting messages OOC saying that we're ruining other people's RP because we're being fucking sad and stuff, and it's like, bro, that was a little bit frustrating in its own with the arc, because we know that we're going to encompass people that aren't used to dealing with these things, but it's something that happens in real life, so you kind of got to run with it.
Yeah, that really bummed me out, to be honest. It was it became exhausting juggling. Okay, I can be this level of sad around this person, and around this person I just completely just drop it. You know, it was very difficult.
What actually leads to one of my favorite Ash character things, though, is the fact that like she's so good at hiding her emotions around people, and then when she has those little twitches, like her PTSD twitches for things, they're so interesting because it makes people like it
Okay,
throws
I'm
them
back.
Yeah.
entirely.
My drunk ass was
Well,
hungry.
it kind of had to happen. I didn't want it to.
Yeah, well, just like when Clark accidentally handcuffed Ash the other day, and Ash just sprinted across the parking lot as far away from him as possible.
Poor Clark.
Yeah.
He knew what was going on.
I don't think he
Nice.
did either, but like seeing them all stand around confused, it's like it's really good character shit.
Mike. Now you say yes.
Yes.
Somebody asked how different it was playing Jasper, from 2.0 to 3.0.
Trial and error. In 2.0, I had been around long enough to know most people, I guess, and most cops, and what was and wasn't possible. But coming in back to 3.0 and not having any knowledge of what police were capable of, that Winmo was a thing, that subpoenas were now a thing. Like used to, they had to get your phone, or you had to screenshot the images to give to the police. So it was interesting to see how much more powerful PD was, and plan around that. And like that's why it took so long to give PD Jasper's number this time around, was because I wasn't sure if they were just going to take that and run from it and immediately do subpoenas and immediately get like his bank information. And it was all about finding out what was and wasn't possible. And then when it comes to people that were included, this time I would say I was a lot more careless, because I wanted him to get caught. There wasn't a planned ending. There wasn't a planned like storyline ending. I had said numerous times, this isn't Jasper's storyline. It's whatever people involved want to turn it into. So I wanted Jasper to get caught just randomly out of the blue, like most serial killers do. It's just something stupid that ends up coming forward and being the downfall. So I played him a lot more carelessly and a lot less powerful, I guess. Debatable.
So is Hayes gonna miss Jasper now?
Gonna miss the cat memes because they were great.
Maybe he can send them from the dead.
The cat memes?
Maybe.
Oh man.
Literally cat memes.
Yeah, we had some good text conversations.
I do have a question. Speaking of cat memes, what was the correlation to Tom and Jerry?
That was all flop.
But it all made so much sense.
Everything does when you dig into it. That's what's beautiful about seeing where people go with it, is the whole I wish I could just spill everything that I had no intentions on. Let's go back to Reggie's video first, the whole Christmas Carol. And the 12 days of Christmas. The reason Jasper skipped number 4 is because everything else he said added up to 12 for the 12 days of Christmas. 4 was not skipped for any other reason besides everything else was 12. And then it was, holy shit, 12 means death in Japanese. And then I had this idea that Ash was going to be the fourth video after Reggie, and she ended up being the 4th victim total of Jasper's arc instead because things fell through. So the whole Tom and Jerry thing, like seeing that brought up, and it was like, what? And then I started digging into it, and I was like, okay, let's see if I can piece anything and throw any more information to just throw them on more of a wild goose chase. And then the whole ending to Ash's video with the train, it's like, okay, that was the last episode of Tom and Jerry, is when they do or don't get hit by the train, and it's like, oh, there's a train. And
wait, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, the ending to Tom and Jerry was really sinister and like fucked up, but I was like, I got so lost in this. I feel like, honestly, Mike, I feel like the most entertaining thing for you was probably watching from the sideline, watching all of us try and put these random fucking pieces together. The things that made no sense. The one thing that got me was when Reggie called Flop and was like, Flop, I don't think this is actually anything. But
like I remember, speaking of Reggie's video,
the state ID.
Speaking of Reggie's video, it was what caught me was like when he was like, rise from the ash, you just gotta catch up or something like that. It was just like, oh, Ash catch up as his next victim, and it's like, it really wasn't. I think it was Tate after. It was just like things like that. It was just like intriguing as fuck.
You know, one thing I did see, I feel kind of like out of the loop because I don't like catch up with a lot of stuff, I guess. But one thing I did see was cool with Jasper and Flop, and Jasper had said to Flop, "Ashes to ashes." This is just before he had taken Ash. And then at the end of the Ash video, it says, "We all fall down." And I was like, oh my god, I wonder if Flop will pick up on this.
So, I didn't actually. I'm gonna be honest. With the amount of phone calls that Jasper and Flop had, which was probably less than some other people, but I want to say Jasper and Flop had some like pretty significant phone calls. A lot of the phone calls went on for about 45 minutes. And completely jokes aside about me and my attention span, I legitimately have about a 15-minute attention span before I like completely just zone out. And it's not like I do it on purpose. It just happens like within the PD meeting and stuff. Toward the end of those phone calls, when those things are said, I typically forget them until I actually write them down and go back and rewrite everything that was in the recording and getting it on paper. And if I don't do that, I'm gonna forget like 90% of the conversation. Yeah, quite literally. I own it. I know I'm bad about it, but at least like I'm willing to admit it.
You got to get a Reggie to poke at you until you answer.
I mean, true. Speaking of which, randomly, but what was the catching into the state ID thing, Simo, with Flop and his state ID?
I can't fucking remember for the life of me.
It was something about 1125, and you were like, I think Jasper's hinting at you again, and I was like, holy shit, Reggie's right. But I feel like that was probably another one of those dumb things.
I see. Low key, that was me trying to force you to get involved in this shit.
You fuck.
Because I wanted you to also get involved as well on Flop, and making it so you could possibly be somewhat of a fucking target to it. It always adds that extra element to it of wanting to get more involved.
Okay.
And that's what it was like. I'm much the same as Mike. I want to get as many people involved that want to be involved in it, and that they're not going to like derail the storyline. So getting more people involved in it like that is always something that plays into my mind, and something that just fit perfectly with that was being able to manipulate those numbers into Flop's state ID and Flop's call sign.
Well, then I have a follow-up question, but the follow-up actually goes to Mike then, because talking about like involving Flop got a really fucking random phone call from Choi, and I really want to know what was Choi's involvement in like this arc.
Yeah, did Choi have any involvement, or did she just rock back up for no reason?
Choi and Jasper have been BFFs since before he threw her in the trunk and drove it into the ocean. So she popped up a little bit in the beginning. It was that entire video was done to throw police off of her.
So
and
it was like, I was right.
Yeah. And the funniest part of that is Jasper would go visit her in ICU after she had conversations with Dan, and then anything Dan was telling Dr. Choi would relay to Jasper and saved his ass probably a handful of times when Andy was trying to set him up. So she came back for this arc a little bit. She didn't really have any big involvement besides like just being Jasper's friend again, and then she stopped coming around. So
did you have plans to have her involved in it?
Yeah, if she would have kept coming around, I mean, absolutely. It would have been nice to have her at the trial. She could have she could have said some good words for Jasper.
I could have.
Damn it.
She really would have. So then the question is, when Choi called Flop about the smileys, was that honest, just like good timing, or was there something involved between Alvin and Choi at the time that she called Flop about that?
Alvin and Choi were already involved, yeah.
Okay.
Choi, I don't know if you know this. Dr. Choi gave you a star, gave Flop a star.
See, that was my follow-up question. Someone asked in chat earlier, who was the other star? And it was so like on the fence because I didn't know. Because at first it was, because Flop was the wild card with confusion, because it was kind of presumed that Choi gave Flop his star. And then Jasper was like, I'm going to give you another star. And Flop said, okay. And then when he went to go talk to Hayes about it, Hayes was like, timeout. That goes against everything that Jasper's ever built upon. And we had to go back to the drawing board and how stars were done for a little bit until we tried to put the pieces together. And then we eventually just came to the point where I think Jasper was just trying to do the, as we called it in the investigation, you know, showing something in one hand while the other hand does something else, like trying to like focus on something.
You calling the investigation? Is that not what Reggie told you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That you,
wow.
He's the one that's claiming it right now. I'm sorry, I am not involved in this. Do not.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
Nope. Also, you didn't make the saying. It's a common thing.
You didn't create the saying, but
no,
Reggie,
but I linked it to Jasper.
Reggie did link it. I won't lie. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I know Flop was inclined to listen to Jasper or not to Reggie in that.
So the reason Jasper gave Flop a star was because during the conversation on seeing if Dr. Choi wanted to be involved again, she had mentioned like you were the only person she didn't want Jasper to go after. And Jasper and Choi's relationship is that's probably Jasper's only true friend, because Dr. Choi held a position of high power. So she's a doctor and knows everything that he's done, but doesn't try to change him or stop him, or she just accepts it and accepts him for him. Whereas everyone else is like, oh, I can change him. I'll be his friend, but it's because I want to make him better. So Dr. Choi is probably Jasper's only real friend in his eyes. So when she gave Flop a star and was like, if you go after him, like, I'll do everything I can to kill you. And Jasper wanted to save Flop for last. And when Reggie told Jasper, I didn't give Flop a star, then he's like, well, fuck, Flop's got two. You can't go after the double stars. I have no idea.
Do you guys want to know why Reggie took Flop's star?
Why?
Well, he's dead. Spill the beans.
The reason was because Flop had pissed Reggie off at that time. And Reggie wanted fucking Flop to be wanted Jasper to go after Flop.
Man, fuck you.
Surprise Pikachu face, really.
In an attempt
what
to then
pissed off Reggie?
But this was around the time that fucking Flop was like, I'm too busy. Meh, 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 meh. And Reggie's like, you know what? Fuck your star cunt. And it was more to do with if I put Flop in danger, then that means Ash is less out of danger.
See, like when you put it in that context, though, it makes sense because Reggie, the joke always came up. If it was between Reggie or Flop, who would you go for? And Reggie, without question, would be like Ash. So it was no surprise that you were gonna pick Ash's side no matter what. And I think, granted, because there was more of a mutual respect with PD opposed to a friendship with PD, and there was a friendship with Ash, that it was very clear that Reggie was going to do whatever he could to protect Ash. And that was always the start. The start to the investigation was, if I'm ever in a position where he's going to take me, I'd rather you put a bullet in me to avoid having to go through the torture of Jasper. And it was very clear that Reggie didn't give a flying fuck about anyone but himself and Ash. And put Ash before himself, really. So
I just wanted to see Flop get fucked up.
I think it would have been kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
I wanted to see how it changed Flop.
All right.
I honestly wanted to see how it changed Flop as a character.
Wait, would that have made him a gangster? Can we go back?
Can I be honest?
What do you think would have happened if Flop did get attacked? Like, how would that change Flop?
Ooh, okay. So,
because I would be that was an OOC reason as well, because I wanted to see how that would change Flop.
Well, I'm gonna answer honestly on this, and there's a couple different ways that this could have gone. So, a little quick backstory to understand where I'm going with this. In 2.0, Flop was manipulated and lied to from Thomas Dwayne to be part of the Illuminati, and was part of this group of horrible people where Flop literally set up one of his dads to get like kidnapped by this guy and fucking tortured. But Flop didn't know, and I didn't even know out of character for a while who could have kidnapped this guy. And Thomas like manipulated Flop and sent Flop into this depressing frenzy of like panic. Quite literally, where Ash is right now was Flop for all of 2.0. And I was gonna take it two ways. I was really gonna leave it up to a dice roll. That one, Flop was gonna go right back to his like feared state from 2.0, where he wouldn't know how to handle himself, and to the point where he'd either take an LOA or even step away from PD based on his discomfort of trying to uphold himself, or Flop being the matured, now out of the womb of where he was in 2.0 of, being tortured and being lied to and manipulated to, that he would have been matured enough to move past that. And I think, depending on how I would have played that dice roll, I think that could have gone one of two ways. Either Flop was going to accept that he worked his way through so much beforehand that he could relate to, that he would know better on how to handle the situation, or that he would send himself right back into where he was in 2.0. And I think if it were to send him right back where he was in 2.0, I was ready to take Flop into probably a quitting PD and going back to his own thing, which I think would have been interesting, because I was ready. There were a few times where I was ready to quit PD, but I legitimately had intent on letting Flop quit PD and just seeing where his story would have taken him. Which honestly,
Reggie wouldn't let Flop quit PD, which is what he did last time as well.
I mean, do you remember when
Flop was already talking about it?
Yeah, do you remember when Flop called Reggie and was like, "So Reggie, I think I'm gonna quit PD."
Reggie fucking not happy with that. Reggie actually, odd enough, it's funny that Reggie likes to keep people that he like people in PD. Like the same thing as what happened with Cleo is Reggie tried to keep her in PD. Yeah, oddly enough, he did try. Like originally, he wanted to fuck with her, but he tried to keep her on the good path, and then she just fucking went sideways anyway. I'm gonna add Braun into this.
Oh, sweet.
Judge himself.
Oh hell yeah!
What the fuck
Absolutely.
is my DMs with you, Braun?
I would love to hear.
Who's Braun? Is that the
Holden.
lawyer?
Holden.
It's Holden.
No, Holden.
It's the judge.
Holden.
Accept my request, Braun.
Oh, Judge Holden?
Yeah, Judge Holden.
Accept my friend request, motherfucker.
He also plays
Murphy Braun.
Murphy Brown. There you go.
That's the smart lawyer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, it's actually the drunken lawyer. Get it right.
Grizz.
Just, What? No.
No, not Grizz. No.
Ron's the drunk.
I think it's is it? Would I be wrong saying it's TG lawyer?
CJ lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
that's fair.
I just need Braun to hurry up and accept my request on Discord so I can add him, please.
The call out.
Wait, can I ask a question real quick then?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hayes, who the fuck could Jasper have gone after?
Oh.
Didn't you fucking get a name?
Like,
Pretty sure Riley's gave you Anita, which would have actually.
Didn't know?
Okay, so I figured Anita, that's who I was gonna roll with, but I always joked about on stream that to me Hayes is a serial killer herself because she that's why her and Jasper's conversations were so good because neither of them give a shit, and it's like I don't know if there's anyone that I can actually make a video of.
I'll be honest.
So Anita would have been one of them, and it's one of the things that she was actually afraid of when Ash was found. And it was just like, oh, now Anita's probably going to be on the chopping block, and the little fucking family that I'm starting to make here is just going to hate me, so then I'm just going to go and be my little serial killer self.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Hayes to turn into a serial killer, I'll be honest.
She's halfway there.
All right, give us the judge juice.
I mean, you gotta give me like some kind of question.
What was your favorite
How
video?
was your day?
Why did you sentence him death? Why did you not sentence him life in prison?
There you go. This is the start.
Unfinished business.
So it had something to do.
I was
with
supposed to be the judge
original-
in the original case, but he got killed.
So Simo was right. Simo was right in saying that it was
I thought that
like-
it had something to do with the fact of the original Jasper Saxon, and the case had to do with that, and that was something that was going to play into effect with it. I thought that he would have gotten life in prison originally from how the court case went, but then you also have that wild card of the fact of how much of a menace Jasper was originally.
Well, he demonstrated that he wasn't delusional and that he was very his impact statement had a lot of malice aforethought and sort of premeditated just one last shot of fear into his victims. You know, that's all he wanted to do with. He didn't look upon mercy or anything like that. He went right back to doing what he's been doing. You know what I mean?
Mm. Did you think that Reggie was actually going to fucking shoot him in the courtroom?
No, I mean, I was nervous that you had a gun.
Everyone was
We're all
nervous.
nervous that he had a gun.
A fucking gun.
If I wasn't going to get OIC banned for that, possibly I could have. Upsetting. Judges can't be corrupt.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that.
Honestly,
You're such a wild card of a judge, man. Like, I did not expect for you to unseal the court case. That threw us all sideways.
what was annoying was we found out like 20 minutes before. I remember I woke up on the server and was like making my way, and I was like all nervous, and I'm like working myself up because I haven't done any court cases before. So this was like my first like big going into court. And as soon as I stepped foot on like the sidewalk, Odessa came up to Flop and was like, yeah, by the way, just to let you know, Holden doesn't want to seal the court case. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh, Reggie spat.
What was the reason for you unsealing it?
Because it's a death penalty case. The public has a right to know how justice is administered.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's not about the safety of the defendant or the rights of the defendant. It's about the rights of the public. Sealing a court case has to have an extremely relevant reason.
See, I told you should have gone down the path of talking about Ash and the victims and all that stuff, but you did. Fuck Jasper's safety. You're gonna murder him anyway.
He almost
Yeah,
did
that
on
was
his way to
kinda
The
cool.
court.
original reason we didn't want to bring up the fact that Ash was possibly not safe anymore is because the fucking guy standing right there. He can relay that information back. He's a blabbermouth.
But who's
But
the
it's like
blabbermouth?
Jasper's a blabbermouth. He's gonna go back to his little buddies
What?
that have the phone, and he's gonna be
That's
like,
not true.
"Hey guys, they know that you have you've been taunting Ash. They know." Because we didn't know 100%. We had a feeling that it was Jasper, but there wasn't enough phone calls to warrant that it was Jasper.
Acting like Jasper's got friends. Heck, W.
No, he has one.
Oh, they had a little list. He had a little list in DOC
Wait, Jasper
of the
actually
people
had
that
friends?
He had someone in DSC who I don't even think unintentionally like helped him and almost caused a huge fucking mishap with witness tampering.
Oh, I remember that one. That
Oh,
Yeah, what
Oh.
happened with that? Did anything happen with
we
that?
never saw him again.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I never
feel
saw him again
terrible.
after that either.
Oh, no.
he just disappeared into the night.
Fuck, Reggie went ham on that guy. Holy demon.
Oh, I feel terrible.
Well, I remember Reggie told Flop and was like, make sure you tell Hayes. And then Flop was like, yeah, so Reggie told me this. And like, as I'm saying this, like, I was very casual about it. Like, Flop didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to react for Flop. And then when like Flop casually told Hayes, Hayes went haywire and was like, nah, this guy is getting everything. He's going to fuck with my case. I'm going to fuck with him.
Out of curiosity, Mike, was it you that kept calling with the unknown numbers? Was that you? With Jasper?
Yes.
Shocker. Shocker.
Oh,
Yeah, the heavy
What a
breathing, just
that was terrifying.
So, Braun, do you regret getting Grizz to be his lawyer?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't want to throw Grizz under the bus or anything, but he was sort of tone deaf to like the history of this case and all that a little bit, especially when Ash was on the stand. So I kind of thought he was not necessarily the right lawyer for a case like that, but I thought that it would go a little more smoothly if Jasper had at least someone there to like tell him how to defend himself. But
I was kind
it
of
turned into
Go
it
on.
turned into like, you know, just like objections and stuff.
I was
Turned
kind of
into grit.
So many objections.
I was expecting that Jasper would still regain control over his side, and they would be there to say, like,
I'm going to be honest, dudes. It's 1:30 in the morning. I have no idea if I'm going to make it to a stream tomorrow, but I'm going to try. We're going to keep going, but I'm going to try and stream tomorrow morning. We'll see, though.
The best possible legal defense under the circumstances, because I guess he had trouble finding a lawyer.
We were talking
Which
about
I
earlier.
have,
Well, go ahead.
I have a question. Did you actually threaten the lawyers? Because I had the serial killer lawyer call me saying, "This man is the devil. I'm not representing him. Fuck this guy. I'm gonna throw one of my baby attorneys." And then she's like, "No, never mind. I'm not even doing that." And
What?
I didn't know about
I
that.
didn't threaten anybody.
Patrick up in arms.
Everyone just told me they were conflicted, and I was like, how was the serial killer lawyer conflicted? I was so confused. It's like, if you're representing serial killers, don't make any friends. Like, they're all gonna fucking die.
do you want to know how? I can answer that real quick.
I would love to know how.
Because ain't nobody gonna go and defend the person that attacked Reggie like that. Hello? They're afraid of Reggie. They know
point.
Reggie would go and fucking murder them afterwards.
I was thinking more about Ash and how half the city was just out to kill Jasper and all the serial killers.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be on Jasper's side after that.
Yeah, that was also definitely a
Yeah,
hard nail in the
sorry.
coffin.
What was funny was Mabel was it Mabel? If it would have been funny if Mabel could have been, you know, the lawyer, but it's like the way to do that shit would have been like crazy. 2 computers and oh man, that would have been funny as shit.
Dude, Mabel's ridiculous. I love Mabel.
Yeah, Mabel is something.
Did you watch the videos this time, Braun?
No, I watched the videos like originally.
So you watched
I
you
was
listened to
originally the
defense.
judge in this case, so it's been a while, but I already like watched all the original stuff already for the case that he never got caught, he got killed. So the case never happened, but I was already familiar with all this.
So you didn't even get to see the videos that happened this time?
I went over that stuff a little bit, but I mostly just like made sure that I was up to speed with all the evidence that Mike fed the cops. In addition to like what's usually there, I just had to make sure like all the additional stuff that was role played out was like acknowledged just as much, and it all kind of connected and made sense.
I wanted to see your thoughts on the development of Jasper's story compared to like the cassettes before to the videos now. I think, to be honest, Mike, you, as much as it's easier to do the recordings from what you said before, I think you've really stepped up the fear factor of Jasper in 3.0 than what it was in 2.0. Because he went after bigger targets this time.
It wasn't I mean, OOC and in character, it was Jasper was always stating it's not a numbers game, it's a impact game. Like, who can you attack to make some sort of impact? And once I started getting like other role players involved to be the victims, it was so much better.
I still feel bad for Levi.
He's all right, man. I was just playing him the other night.
Hell yeah.
Fucking pothead Levi.
Why didn't he get called as a witness? He's still alive.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
We
can
just hate on the
Jasper
stand
out of the
while we're
room
at
for
it.
it?
Like,
God,
Justin's like, why are we calling him? And I'm like, because we can't. We just he's off roaming the lands, being his pothead self. We can't call him.
it's so tricky to do, like when your own characters are the victims and how much information you're willing to give. Because in 2.0 I killed off well, I didn't kill off, I attacked my superhero and then killed off one of my older characters. And it's like killing off my characters has always been a thing for my serial killer arcs, I guess. But and then court case too, like what Murphy said, trying to make sure that the actual things that were role played out are just as impactful, because it's so easy to look at the videos and be like, oh, no face, no case. Look, he's wearing gloves. How the fuck did he leave fingerprints if he's wearing gloves? And
Well,
just pick
that's
apart
why I
every
shut down
technical-
Grizz when he started harping on the voice ID stuff like it was like a bench trial. I'm like, listen, this is not that case, Grizz. Like this. There's a lot more than just the voice ID to this.
I just wish he would speak quieter so whenever he talks, it doesn't nail on chalkboard for me.
Oh, you got no idea. The first time I got introduced to Grizz was when Reggie was on his fucking criminal arc, and this motherfucker's up there talking about someone getting shot and referring it to his many orifices. He got shot, so he has many orifices, and then this orifice, and then this one, and then Reggie was just molding so hard. It's like, why does he keep saying orifices? And
But yeah, like I'm kind of flattered that like these are the kind of cases that I get asked to do. I don't know. I just I hope that I'm able to maintain a certain room tone for like heavy stuff like this.
You want the
I don't
honest
think
truth?
you had
I don't think
PD
it's-
tiptoeing.
Tiptoeing? Well, what do you mean?
Well, I can elaborate on tiptoeing. So after the pretrial hearing, Flop, Hayes, Odessa, and Andrea. Oh my God, who was the other?
Alexandra, come
Alexandra.
on,
I'm sorry.
man.
Listen, I'm tired. Okay. We all like went back to the drawing board and we were like, okay, Holden is a loose cannon and we need to prepare for war. And we had our evidence so like backed up with everything just in case, because we didn't know how to react to Holden. We didn't know what we were dealing with after the pretrial hearing, because we figured that like this could have gone either way. And so our plan of attack was just plan for the absolute worst and expect the best. And we didn't know what we were expecting going into it. So we really tiptoed around how we felt Holden was going to preside over the information.
Well, good. I'm glad that was the effect.
Yeah, no, it was good. And I think the fact that, granted, we make our jokes with Grizz, but I think knowing that Grizz was there to do some kind of representation, it didn't feel as, I don't want to say one-sided because that's unfair, but I think it was nice knowing that when it came time to questioning, we had something to go off of, right? Because before it was like we were going into it with all this evidence and information. And, you know, granted, I'm not the best in court, but knowing that there was a level of challenge there to be faced against was nice to see. And I'm glad that Grizz was willing to step up to the plate. Because I really did feel bad for how difficult it was for Mike to actually have somebody represent his character.
What would have been the saving grace in the impact statement to stop the death penalty?
Contrition, or the opposite of what occurred. It wasn't just about, okay, so the only mitigation I heard was that it was from Psych and from Grayson, right? Which is that he's delusional. But in Jasper's own impact statement, I saw through, in character, out of character, I saw through everything he was saying. He was saying, he was like doing a Scarface bit and like saying just random stuff, but at the end, all he really wanted to do was make his victims who were present scared before he died.
So you're
and
saying
that was the only thing.
He could have saved himself today.
There was a chance he could have said anything or offered up anything about himself that's redeemable or anything, but instead of that, he does the opposite. He actually says something intentionally with malice aforethought to make Ash more afraid, to make them think it's not over. And that was kind of like, you know, that was sort of the last straw. You know, I don't think there was much that he could have said that would have countered like the impact of Ash's statement or anything like that. I mean, like I mentioned, like I loved it that she walked around all the cops and around the other table instead of going right up to the podium. She didn't want to be anywhere near him, and just everyone's sort of visceral response to him, and the fear and all that stuff, like. You know, he said nothing to counter that.
There you go, Mike. You threw it.
Hey, it was,
Could have
like I
saved
said,
yourself.
it was all planned out.
Could have happened. We could have had Jasper breakout, Jasper 3.0.
It was
Look,
close.
once you set the precedence that all I have to do is make a new character and be like, woo, he came back from hell. It doesn't even matter that he died, and he'll be back next week.
Well, go fuck
Nice.
yourself.
Well, all the more reason to kill you. The next one will know that they're gonna die.
Just gonna come back, and then we get to kill him again, and then he's gonna come back, and it's a daily occurrence now.
Fucking Groundhog Week.
No, he's gonna come back and be Chico's best friend, and they're gonna be killing people together, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
that's it.
I think one of the
Yep,
biggest.
Jasper Jackson for Seaside.
I think one of the
First thing he'll try to do is try to inherit Jasper's car.
Oh, please don't start on those things, Jesus.
Oh God. I would like Jasper's car, please. Jesus. Well,
Wait, did Jasper ever own a push bike?
I think he did. He had a BMX, right?
What, Alvin?
A
Did
BM.
Alvin-
I don't think I had any vehicles. I think he did have a bike.
Yeah. On that push bike arc. All right.
Now we know.
He liked his bicycles.
Run plates
No,
on
this,
every
the-
bicycle.
The economy is fucked. Serial killers can't afford vehicles.
No, they do.
Just run dirter, man. It's ridiculous.
And that's where most of the smileys work. But do you guys know Rick Diculous? He put the postman character rides around as a bicycle all day, and just delivers mail to people.
Yeah.
So
I've seen him.
he's so great. But right after Reggie got kidnapped, he gives joke letters to people. He rolled up to Scud and left me a letter, and it's anonymous, and it just says, like, we're watching you from a distance. I'm gonna close in on you. I'm gonna get you. And I was like, I knew, like, oh, see, I knew that it wasn't from Jasper, but I was like, oh, poor postman. This was the worst possible fucking time to be handing out like joke serial killer letters. So he got like run down and people were interrogating him and like fucking screaming at him and stuff. And it's like, it was completely innocent and unrelated.
Dude,
but he
I'm so
accidentally
tired.
became so creepy because he rode by Uwu on a bicycle. And then I rode by the courthouse and he drove by me there on a bicycle. And then I was in the farmer's market and he rode by on the bicycle again. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Is that Jasper? Because at that point we had no idea who the hell he was. Just screaming. It's like, it's the fucking postman. It's the fucking postman. It's gotta be.
Oh,
I mean, it checks out. Alvin was a postman.
I need that brings me to a point. The fuck you, Mike, and putting fucking Alvin's name in there. Like one of the very first ones that comes into play where we've got another name through all the fucking research. I spent like 60 hours on that court case for Bree of prepping it. So I knew that inside and out, everything to do with it. And then I see Alvin and I'm like, why does that fucking ring a bell to me? And this always happens to me. Like it happened again today with Bree McNabb. Her name coming up. I'm like, why does that ring a bell to me? And then I go back into my notes where I keep all what people's names mean to me. And oh, there it is. There it is. Alvin Cohort delivered a fucking package. Fuck this cunt.
Yeah, that was like the main thing that made me find him guilty on everything.
That was the craziest from prosecution. I don't think anyone expected the way that you were going to rule on that. But when you mentioned that also pleading or having him guilty for the cold cases, we were all like, I mean, shocked Pikachu faces is an understatement.
Unlocked.
We were like, that's bad for him. It was a cool way to rule.
Well, I mean, it was all the mitigation again was around him being a delusional copycat, but there's no way to look upon the fact that in August of 2020, a man named Alvin Kohal delivered a bloody package related to this, and then 2 years later is doing the same stuff. That's not a copycat. That is someone who is very clearly an accomplice of some kind. At the very least, the name being the same is not a coincidence, especially with the other connections. Like, so I felt comfortable charging him at least at the accomplice level with the original killings based on that.
Sure.
Which is something that, if Mike, you remember, Reggie questioned about with once he found out it was Alvin was, is this something that you'd been doing before, or is it? No, not Reggie.
What's up, Takagawa? How you doing?
Question it.
So I'm so quiet.
Alvin was
I'm
also
doing my
involved
best.
originally, or not? Because that threw me sideways when I found that link. I was just like, wait, what? Did I miss this whole thing back in 2.0? That was wild. It was like that little direct link on that.
I hate that that's the character I got stuck with too. Like, so many people made jokes about the whole Alvin name, and I'm like, look, he was a shitlord character in the beginning, and now he's the only one that has connections to like the 2.0 Jasper stuff. So it made perfect sense for him to be the one that was quote unquote possessed or copycat or whatever. Which is also why I went through on my image page and deleted his ID, was because in 2.0 Alvin was a PED model. So he used like the PED Bug Stars outfit and the PED post-op outfits, and I deleted that ID so it wouldn't be there. And when you click it in the old Jasper files, nothing pops up because it doesn't exist anymore. And when Bass was like, oh yeah, that postman's the guy standing right in front of me, and it's like, you fucking liar, because the guy standing right in front of you is Jasper's model from 2.0.
Bass was so funny. He was so confident in going up, and I can't speak for everyone else, but I was like, this guy's about to bomb this.
I was fucking scared.
I was so terrified because he was like, hey, I remember that 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh god, We're fucked.
Bro,
you?
how does he
I know.
remember that? Mike, you were there through Bree's court case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through that whole thing from Brian and Bass both, I don't recall. I don't know. So disinterested. Did not give a fuck about it. And I was
there too.
sitting there ready to fucking flip my chair, and I'm just like, okay. And then he comes up here on this court case 2 years later and is like, yeah, I remember it perfectly. Why didn't you remember it when I had the court case, you moron? Oh, fucking
Yep.
swinging.
So
He's
funny.
Back then he was
now,
a
so-
sergeant, so he was probably more nervous. Now he's the chief of police or
Exactly.
the sheriff, so it's not as nerve wracking for him. He's done 100 court cases now.
Yeah, and plus he's only killed one person since he's been a cop.
Only one?
Only, I mean,
Who?
That's
he,
small.
he killed the EMS
Two,
with a
only
brick.
two.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the EMS.
No
The
one knows
EMS.
that.
No one knows it in
Permitting
character,
is so
but
2019.
I love Bess though.
Fuck, I've got a court case coming up in an hour and 15 minutes. I regret this.
I'm gonna.
Well,
I'm
did
I
you
got
get
out of
the
it. I
voice.
pawned it off on Bill Stout.
Yeah, because it's solo now. I was going to say you where you don't have to be there.
Do Mike, for you? Do
I'm
you
exhausted.
have any intention on bringing the voice back with a different character?
I don't think I can.
I know
It
what
would-
you can do. Get into fucking PD, please. I beg.
Okay, but I'm gonna try to not go out and bitch about this. I have had an application in PD for 3 years. I have submitted it 15 fucking times, and have been told another dozen times, "Hey, your interview's coming." It's not. I'm pretty sure I'm blacklisted.
All right, say less.
Well, I'm an FBI now, so there's that.
Hey,
Oh, there you go.
how you doing? Recommendation here.
I was literally about to tell Hodded that if you don't hire him, I'm going to permit every character he has.
Yo,
Just,
no, what's going on? Thanks for the amazing RP,
just
Chris.
take all
Also, your
his shit
statement
away
today
from
was so
JJ.
great and top tier.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
not only will
appreciate it.
permit JJ, I'll
I
fucking
appreciate you,
personally
Nolan. Thank you
rate
for the
him
4 months.
and then fucking sell off all of his assets to the state.
Can we get some hearts in chat? If anyone's still
I'm
here,
gonna-
Dude, I'm fine on his every
It's so
single
late.
day, and it'll drive him absolutely wild, and I'll be upset.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hate it.
The Jasper voice is just like so iconic, you know. Like to put in
it
another
only
character
works.
would be.
Yeah, it only works for a serial killer. Like you can't, I don't know, work at Uwu and be like, "Welcome to Uwu, fuckface."
You'd
How
be
may I help you?"
surprised, man.
Oh, you definitely could
Oh,
then.
you definitely,
Yeah, you
You'd
could definitely
be
do that.
surprised.
you're kidding yourself.
Have you met Fenry?
I love Fenry.
Fucking terrorist.
I don't know.
Or Ed?
It fits
or
that
Han?
not giving a shit, being dead inside, having a reason to be dead inside, and it would just feel. Plus, I'm
Listen,
gonna need
all
it in a few weeks when I bring him back. So
All you need is
Shut
a
the fuck
golf
up.
character. All you need is a golf character. Listen, guys, you think he's playing, but he's literally bringing him back, and Chico's gonna be his best friend. They're gonna be fucking killing
Dude.
people together. You're gonna
It's
see
gonna
Chico
be
and
Chico
fucking Jasper.
Sada.
Jasper
Yeah, you're gonna
Guzman.
see Chico and Jasper on fucking videos and cassettes together. All right.
Perfect. My judge term ends in another 4 months. If you guys can hold off till then, and then I'll be on my terrorist arc, and I'll
But
murder
you said
guys.
4 months.
oh, sweet.
Another
Say
terrorist
less.
arc?
Way too long. They said a week.
That's way too long. We're doing this shit in a week, motherfucker.
All right. Well, I'll just do something slightly corrupt so I don't get banned and just
Well,
get fucking removed
what-
from DOJ.
What we could do is like just be really powerful, make sure we don't leave any clues whatsoever the entire time.
Yeah, just
so
use
in
I got you,
4
I got you.
months, they're
No,
like,
don't-
"Whoa!"
Don't worry, Mike. You're gonna be doing all the killing, and Chico's gonna have some killing, but he's gonna be making sure he's wiping everything down as we leave. Don't worry, I got you, bro.
In the back of the video,
Bring
it's-
just bring all the bleach. And
The
Chico
bleach,
with
the
the
blue
bleach.
gloves, the
we'll mention it in
onesie.
every video too, so it makes sense. Like, why is there no
Yeah.
evidence like in the video? Chico, you got the bleach. Oh, great.
Yeah,
Get used
don't
to
worry,
the
Jasper. I got it.
Because then we won't be able to tell.
Well,
Nope.
fuck, if I guess everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, right. Well, hold on.
All right, terror stash then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so now
Listen,
you become a
When?
Okay.
When? Because that's like we all waiting for it for like this just something to snap, and it's just like never. Like we thought it would probably be this,
You
like
imagine
this
our
little arc.
tutorial? It's not gonna work.
No, but I mean, crazier things has happened. You know,
Yeah, like I
Jasper
became
coming
a
back from
judge.
dead. Jasper coming back from the dead and being possessed, possessing
Oh,
alcohol.
that's the craziest thing. Not
Jasper
me,
the friendly
ex-murderer.
ghost.
Not me.
Honestly,
ex-murderer
people
slash terrorist
being
a judge.
possessed pretty
No,
common in the
coming
server.
back from the
Coming
hell
back from
because
the dead, yeah.
literally
back
had
from
serial
hell.
killers try to do that and they failed. So he succeeded.
I'm
pretty
honestly,
crazy.
I'm really surprised that no one intervened and shut it down. Like as soon as I released that video, I was waiting because it was made clear when 3.0 started, like you weren't allowed to bring back people that, and I got so much shit for that. Like, oh, this motherfucker Permud, he should just stay dead. And it's like, you've been watching the same guy for 6 years. Like, why are you getting mad at me?
I think the difference, to be honest, is how much RP you brought to everyone with it and included everyone into it. I think that's going to always be something that comes into play with whenever an admin will look at that stuff, is that weighs heavy. If someone's actually RPing and not for a powerful reason, just for a reason to further a storyline that encompasses a lot of people, then that's different.
He brought back Jasper for roleplay reasons. He didn't bring back Jasper to be a fucking a grinder or anything like that. For the fuck's sake, this dude had $5K in his bank account until he stole money off of Ash that he kept on his person.
Oh,
he didn't even put it. He didn't even put it away.
Fuck you. You want to say that he's not a grinder? This motherfucker was grinding fucking videos of murders.
Okay, that was roleplay related. It wasn't for personal gain.
Fucking grinder murderer.
It was for personal gain. It was strictly to fuck over Ash.
It was, but it was. Listen, I've watched those videos a few times because the fucking them shits is like crazy.
Wow, you weirdo.
I had to watch them over and over again just to get all the words.
You gotta
All
understand,
right.
Chico is not right in the head sometimes, all right?
I just make them and I'm done. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think. You guys are sick.
Hey, Rowdy AU, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you.
I've analyzed
it's like a fucking, it's like art. You know what I mean? And it's just like we need to appreciate it. You know, it's like you put time and effort into it, and it's shown like throughout the whole, like regardless of it being like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minute video. Like you put so much time and effort into it, and it was just like amazing. You know. So I don't know.
I do feel like it was definitely because the cassettes, I mean, the cassettes were good in their time, and I didn't want to just bring back the cassettes again and bring Jasper back completely. Like it would feel more like I was just bringing the old Jasper back. So when I decided to I mean, having the videos and doing the copycat and having it being based on Jasper, it's like, okay, well, he's a copycat, but at least he's doing something new and unique. Like no one's done snuff films to this level, as far as I know. Like there's been snuff film killers, but Jesus, I was spending 30 to 40 hours a week, like putting one of these together, and I was trying to do one every week, and then it was every month, and then it was every 2 months, and it was like, okay, let's just get this storyline and I'm done.
Yeah, most of the time I would just see people getting stabbed and it would be like a 1 to 2 minute video.
Do you guys think there's any serial killer that can top what Jasper is doing if Mike doesn't bring back another serial killer?
I could kind of answer that. I think.
Yeah, I've got one in mind that's trying to top themselves.
I think personally, I don't know if there's anyone that will ever top the intuitiveness that Jasper brought to as many people as he did. And like I've always said, that you bring a level of story to so many people that it's almost, I can't say impossible, because that would be a lie, but would be very hard to come close to how many people your character impacted at a single time. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but I will say that I don't anticipate anyone ever coming close to the amount of people that Jasper as a character hit on so many different marks.
So for me, it's more about the story, like how Jasper delivered the evidence is just completely different from how some other serial killers are doing it.
True.
So it's like comparing apples to oranges. So I don't think someone's gonna quote unquote top Jasper, but there will be stories that are as in depth and complex as Jasper.
Yeah, God, this is why I've always wanted to be a cop so bad. I love seeing other serial killers and what they come up with, because to me, it's not really. I mean, it's not a competition. I love working with all serial killers. That's literally Jasper's only friends half the time. But like seeing people that are good at coming up with cryptic stuff or puzzles, because Jasper never really had any puzzles. Like I just had videos and sound work, and some people go more in depth with the scenes. Like the game master stuff is just
Fucking Owl's going
it gets
insane.
crazy.
I have not seen anything about owls or game masters. I don't know anything about that.
The game master's
So-
crazy.
Yeah, the amount of work that Owl is putting into the Game Master is absolutely insane. Like they're learning coding for the Game Master and everything to make games and stuff. And they do a shit ton of puzzle work and using willies to create little props for the roleplay itself. So you're actually finding little items on scene that could correlate to figuring out who they're interacting with and stuff like that.
Rest in peace, Willie.
Yeah, now
he's
Willow.
on the ground.
Wait, so how does that work now? Are serial killers getting a bench?
Oh fuck.
Serial
That was
killers getting a
good.
bench. Oh my god.
Look, serial killers need a bench, and serial killers need a queue. All right. There's nothing worse.
Killer Q, God fucking help us.
Jesus.
There would be
Yeah.
so many. There would be so many serial killers, and I don't know.
Actually,
SCU wouldn't be a
yeah.
department. We would just quit.
Yeah, at that
I mean, to
point,
be
we
fair,
just quit
every
it.
character has a serial killer arc, so there's like a lot of serial killers.
There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of them.
Just
Judge
Just
Holden
like-
was a serial killer.
God,
Reggie was like an accomplice, who was
Yeah.
kind of helping fucking Jasper in 2.0.
No, Reggie was a serial killer. He was a serial killer in his own sense, going against what he fucking
he was a vigilante.
detests so much. Yeah.
as long as there's like a line and not all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Get a ticket.
There's nothing worse than having a set date, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have the copycat release videos every Friday, and then calling up Hayes, and it's like, oh, you're still busy. Okay, phone's busy. Oh, phone's busy. Okay, she's really busy today. Fuck. And then going back later and being like, oh, it's because there were 15 other serial killers on Friday.
Yeah, there was like 2 serial killers running around on Friday for Tate's scene, and it was just like, bruh.
That was a shit show.
I mean, I've always wanted to make a serial killer myself. It's just
We are next
I
week.
just-
Shut up. Shut up.
like before, but no, before us, having this idea of doing that, I've always wanted to have one, but it's just like, I don't know, man. I like, I'm good in certain senses, but like making other shit is just like, so hard.
Serial
No.
killers are a different breed on the server,
Yeah.
and it's a completely different type of role play, because a lot of it is you're creating the paper trail, but you never see the result. And I say you never see the result, but the only time serial killers really see the result of what they've done is at the end when they're caught. And it's a different approach to RP, and it's really difficult. And the people that actually are able to accomplish that level of I'm trying to think of the word or the right way to say this, I should say. But in order to provide that level of RP that is also interactive for you is difficult. And I'm sure, Mike, you could probably talk more about it, because I've never had a serial killer character, but I'd imagine from at least the cop side and really seeing it now and really like putting the pieces together, it is not an easy process for you guys to really have your side hold for you. It's more or less you're feeding stuff to PD and feeding stuff to the victims, rather than
It's actually quite selfless, and with what you're
Yeah.
saying is like it's selfless, and sometimes it can be quite thankless because I know that a lot of serial killers have to hide what they're doing and they don't stream it that often because of the fear of meta, and it's not from the PD, it's from the chats and going and doing things. And or you get someone else that wants to be the hero and then they find out where they are and then they're stepping up on them. It kind of sucks for them with that aspect that they're generating a lot of RP for other people and they don't get to stream it themselves. And I honestly, I'm glad that Mike got partner because I always will praise him and send people there to give him love because he deserves so much of it with all the work that he puts in.
Absolutely.
Would it be weird to say that I've always wished to be on the opposite side of the knife? Like Chico has done a lot of torture kind of things, but is it weird for me that I'm saying as Reckless, the streamer, that I would like to see Chico on the other side of the...
What do you think would have happened?
It challenges you. It can challenge people to see how they handle victim RP instead of like just seeing your character that's always the strong character that does and gets shit done. When you're on the other end of it and you're the victim, it really challenges you, which brings it back to what I was saying before. It challenged me so much having Reggie try and play the victim and go against everything that I created him to be.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it's just very intriguing to see like that side of it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't really get that part because it's like my characters are just gangsters, right? So it's just like with Chico being who he is, even though he's not in the South Side anymore, he still has that mentality, and you know he's not gonna easily get caught up with shit. But to have that kind of side of things would be fucking intriguing as fuck to see.
I love doing victim RP. It's fucking fantastic.
I got to see
Wish I would have known that a month ago.
Well, you know, man, you could have.
You
had my DM.
Wow.
So, I guess my input on that whole being selfless, I think until you've played a serial killer or been involved in a storyline, serial killers are constantly getting shit on. Like a lot of cops just don't want to deal with them. Viewers hate them. Like there's a lot of streamers hate them, and it's really disheartening in the beginning. And that's why I was so happy when Reggie got involved, was because in the beginning, like I was already debating on like letting the copycat be caught, because it's the effort wasn't worth the reward, and it was so much work was going into it, and nothing was really coming from it except like
more of a regular thing. Uber,
just
I started
people
it
not
with the
wanting to deal with
Vagos,
it.
and I don't want to say I started doing this, but I wanted it with the Vagos, and when Simo mentioned it, I said I really wanted to see it happen, because I think it's important that people get to hear
try to
what other
include as many people, but then also
feel.
try to include any
I
other
love
serial killers.
deconstructing roleplay, and I think people like to hear it from
when
our side
you
too.
have experienced it, you know the work that goes into it, and you like respect it, and that's why serial killers make good cops or SCU, because they've done that side, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be on this end. Like Chico was saying, you like almost like being the victim and on the receiving end now, and it's people don't realize that when a story ends, it literally would have taken any small thing, any police interaction, any slip up to completely end that storyline. And I felt so bad for the Smileys, seeing them get demolished, as funny as it was in character, because it's like these are people that have been building up this arc, and then now they're getting caught so easily, and it's all being like stripped away, and they're being brought down and just constantly kicked down, because I see the work that goes into that, and I'm like, oh, these. I had to message a lot of them OOC and be like, look, this was not my intention for you guys to just be shit on for a week until Ash's video was done.
Dude, it was just running from scene to scene. It's fucking ridiculous.
We literally it was like bullet points. We would go to one scene, and while we were investigating one, another one would go off, and it was like, these guys gotta chill the fuck out. Holy shit.
That was funny because we was just like, how is it that we could fucking crack open these cases quicker than they can? It's just That's just like how it was. We just had a different.
That's not it though. Like,
Yeah.
the point of the matter is that PD have a set process that they've got to follow.
No, yeah, no. I know. I mean, I
Whereas-
know that, like, as in OOC, yeah.
Like everyone that you guys found was the people that PD were well aware of and watching already.
And it was also one of those things like, so different members of the Smileys had been messing with people at the Uwu Cafe for a while. So when that finally all came together, there was like 30 people with like lists of information that were like, here you guys go. Here's everything you need to know to fuck
I
with
would
the
love for this to be
Smileys.
a new tradition for SU
Francis
cases.
and
I love this.
Kara, they was like in their own little thing, fucking with the Smileys.
Oh yeah, that list that you guys had of the
the
names,
task
Scud had
force.
had that list for a
Yeah.
while.
But that going back to what Mike was saying, is that I agree, and that's why, like, I personally hated the fact of knowing that Mike was ready to give up on it already, and I'm like, no, that's not fucking happening. This is something that I want to see, and I know that plenty of people will want to see, and you're going to get plenty of love for this when it comes through to it. And I did everything I possibly could to help kick this storyline back off, because Mike does mean a lot to me, and his RP means a lot to me because I know how good he is at it, and I'd hate to see anyone shitting on it and saying different, because he puts a lot of effort into his stuff, and that's why I wasn't going to let that storyline die.
And it was a great storyline.
Absolutely. And I've said before, my bread and butter is slow burn RP. I love it so much. And I realize not a lot of people do, because a lot of it really is like very slow discovery of information. But if you're willing to dedicate the time, the amount of conversations that, I mean, even Flop, Reggie, and Ash had in like the early mornings, my early mornings, where
yeah, your early mornings. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, dickhead.
Yeah. Listen, fuck you. Okay. We would just have conversations for an hour plus, standing in a spot talking about the same thing over and over and over again. But just knowing that we had that interaction and that one tip off from Jasper was enough to allow us to talk in person for an hour plus. I love that stuff. That stuff is everything to my enjoyment on the server, and is something that I've always enjoyed. And I'm glad to see stories like this come to light. And I can only hope more people see it for that way, because I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I would love to see it happen more often.
A lot of cops wanted to be a part of it. Like, I had to get to the point where Hayes was fighting to keep the case.
That was fun.
Because people just wanted to be like, hey, Hayes, I'm taking this from you. Like, nah, motherfucker.
Because it was just a crazy arc, and you know, just like so much depth to it, and it's just like, I don't know, I love that. Like I said, I wasn't a part of it that much, but the little that I was, it was just like, oh, it was so great. You know, I wish I had more time in it.
I loved seeing how serious it was constantly being taken. Like when Reggie got grabbed and Ash got grabbed, there were these week-long manhunts looking for him, knowing damn well OOC that you weren't going to find him. And it's like, that's the stuff that pushes it along constantly. It's like, these guys are still looking, and it's that's why everyone like played their part.
I think the first day we looked for Ash for like
Vindir, absolutely
16 to 17 hours.
I said I was going to
we
stream
had
in
to
6
dip.
hours. How the fuck am I going to stream in
Like,
6 hours?
It was, we've searched highs and lows inside.
Hey, real quick, thank you guys for all of the love today, the follows, the just everything. Thank you. You guys are fucking awesome. I don't know what's gonna happen for stream tomorrow, but we're gonna figure something out.
Stone unturned, yo. We was looking everywhere.
Yeah, we looked everywhere.
I was in fucking, after I FA quit, before I had to pull apart my computer, I was watching some people looking while I'm Pepe laughing in chat.
Yeah, you came to my stream. You came to my stream, and I was just like, what?
Reggie, you'll be here somewhere.
You were such a dickhead too. I had no idea.
Reggie
What do
was
you
just
mean?
like-
You didn't even tell me you're moving, motherfucker.
Well, you know what? If you didn't get the hint, are you sure you need to be a judge this week? That's on you.
I was just like, fuck, man.
I
That
need
shit
to
was so
bounce
great,
though,
though.
because it's restarting. I got a court case in 50 minutes, and plus
I was about to say same.
I've got Reggie dressed up in his fucking ready for war outfit because he's going for war up at the oil fields.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Gonna
boy.
clap Braun out and take his oil rig.
Well, damn.
And
Fuck
You
that.
can just
clothes
have
for the
Ash's
Arab.
oil rig. Fuck that
You
shit.
probably have scuds too,
Ash
honestly.
doesn't want it. Ash doesn't
That
want
was
it
the
anymore.
biggest fucking waste of money. Well, until I
Okay.
bought that house.
Oh.
Hey, it's fine. OOC, I've already fucking spoken to Alex and shit's getting changed. It's fine.
Can I
well, speak to somebody about the Abash's house so she can get her money back.
What's up, Mike?
Can I give a closing statement then
Yeah, go for
before this is the last? Because this is like gonna be the last time I talk to most of you. Like we don't have characters to interact.
I'll see you,
Mabel?
Petey. What are you talking about?
And we'll see Mabel all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah, what do you-
I
what do you mean
don't
the
know
last
about that,
time?
child.
Okay.
Look,
And then, you're gonna have a PD. So
We
I
need
get
someone to
shoot
carry our
you.
paintball team.
Well,
I
now I'm
guess
sad
it's
and
true, then.
depressed.
I mean, no, it's not. I mean, like the Jasper interactions were great, and it's not gonna happen ever again to that level. So, I mean, I just want to say that I appreciate every single one of you for the work that you all put in, the seriousness that you showed and demonstrated the entire time. Seriously, this arc wouldn't have blown up to the same level if it wasn't for each and every one of you. It was a lot of fun, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too drawn out. I mean, I guess I'll see you guys on Mabel every once in a while, but
Just shut up and make an actual lawyer.
Hell yeah.
Why can't maybe I'll be a lawyer? Hmm?
I want Mabel the lawyer. I want
do
it.
you
I
want
voted
it?
for it
I
on
do too.
Twitter.
Yeah,
It was
why
a whole
not?
thing.
I think
Yeah,
everyone
why
wants
not?
Mabel as the lawyer except for Reggie.
Yeah.
Reggie just doesn't like fun things.
I need serious
Reggie-
characters. That's my
Reggie's just
problem.
scared you'll be too attracted to her, honestly.
Oh fuck!
I agree.
He kisses me
I agree.
before he
We still have not seen the Mabel song yet for Reggie.
Because Jasper knows he's gonna have to perma another character if he does. But Mike knows, sorry, not Jasper.
I don't know if I could sing as Mabel.
Okay.
I
yeah.
need Reggie like my veggies down my
No,
throat and
no,
in
no,
my
no,
belly.
no. Mm-mm. Mike, thank you so much for an amazing story. I appreciate the fuck out of it. I'm so glad that you came back and you did this and you stuck to it, man. So thank you.
It was
Thank you
fucking
very
awesome.
much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
Freaking
great.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was fun.
See you
Bye.
never.
Thanks for having me on.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys.
My feet.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
No,
What were you going to say to Murphy?
I was gonna thank him for being nice to Ash because I was so scared.
Someone clip it, and then I'll send it to him. Clip it.
Well, don't do that.
Clip it, and we'll send it.
Bye.
Clip it
Bye.
and ship it. Have a good one, guys.
Put in your PDF. God damn it.
It's already in there.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I'll ask people. Bye.
See you for the next arc.